Namaste, good evening, and the hopefully the last session focuses on faceless assessment, faceless appeals, and some of the relevant amendments of non-residents, including the residential status amendment that took place. Friends, but for residential status, otherwise it is purely a theoretical explanation. Okay, in residential status we might work out practically, but for residential status it is purely a theoretical explanation. Okay, more of a theory question or a case law based question. That's what we are expecting from this particular aspects. Okay, so let's progress on amendments in the administrative provisions of the law. Okay, progressing on the amendments in the administrative provisions of the law. The first major amendment is the due date change. The change in the due date for all audit mandatory cases. For all audit, I'm not saying only audit under our law, any law, wherever audit is mandatory. So a company who does not have a turnover of 1 crore, but the company law says it is audit is mandatory. Trust law says audit is mandatory. Wherever audit is mandatory, 31st October is the due date now. Okay, the due date of filing from this year, okay, is 31st October. As said, we are not speaking about any extensions. That's not always question. Okay, companies, other persons whose accounts are mandatorily audited. So please understand, the law does not say mandatory 44 AB and all. It is mandatorily audited. Okay, and the partner of a firm. And the partner of a firm. Okay, remember, I have not used the word, or the law does not use the word working partner. The law does not use the word working partner. The law uses the word partner of a firm whose accounts, that is the firm's accounts, are to be mandatorily audited is 31st October. The other two due dates of 92E, that is TP cases and non-tax audit cases, 31st July remains to be the same. So, repeating, the amendment is for the audit mandatory cases, including the partner of a firm where the firm is subjected to audit because of the 40B provisions. It is 31st October. Okay. A small power, taxpayer's charter, that is rights and obligation of the taxpayer, needs to be released by the CBDT. Okay, and declares taxpayer's charter and issue orders, instruction, direction to income tax authorities. At it is not yet released, but that power is now with the CBDT to release it. Okay. The next amendment is the one which you all need to be literally cautious of. Okay, this is the amendment for penalty in the books of accounts due to false entry in the books of accounts. Please. Okay, so
Sir,
tell me, sir.
sir, this audit report has to be filed 1 month before this
Yeah,
due
this
date.
we have seen in PGBP itself. Okay, that is
Sir,
audit report under 44AB is 1 month before. Okay,
sir, these payments like this 43B, we have to take the return filing
audit
date.
report date.
Audit report. Okay.
1 month before. Yeah. So assume that you can take it as 30th September. Uh, Penalty for a false entry in the books of accounts. Okay. Remember, during any proceedings, that is when the assessment is happening. When the assessment is happening, it is identified false entry or omission of entry is made in the books, and such entry or omission has resulted in tax evasion. Okay, omission to record with a where it is an error. Fine. Omission to error means unintentional. Omission to record or a false entry is recorded which reduces the profits or increases the losses will result in tax evasion. Repeating, false entry or omission of any entry is made or not made in the books. Omission means not made. Such entry or omission has resulted in tax evasion. Then AO shall levy penalty. What is the penalty? Aggregate amount of such false entry and omission. Remember, the penalty quantum is whatever is the false entry or omission quantum. 1 lakh worth of entry not passed. Penalty is 1 lakh. Apart from it, you will pay taxes, interest, everything. But penalty by itself is 1 lakh. And penalty is not only on the assessee. Penalty is not only on the assessee, but any person who has been a part of that mistake. Okay, penalty shall also be levied on any other person who causes such person in any manner to make false entry or omit entry. Opana sollala. Okay, so penalty shall also be on any other person who is the reason. Okay, so not assessee cannot escape saying that he is the assessee is also. Adnalda penalty shall also be levied. Okay, penalty will be levied either or. Penalty shall also be levied on any other person who is instrumental in any manner to make such false entry or omit the entry from the books. Okay, false entry, what does it mean? Okay, forged or falsified document like false invoice or in general a false piece of documentary evidence, false vouchers, false invoice, okay, creation like that. Invoice in respect of supply of goods or services is issued by any person without actual supply of goods or services. Again, it's like a false invoice. Okay, goods or services have not been given, but invoice is done. Invoice in respect of supply or receipt of goods or services or both to and from a person who does not exist. Who does not exist. In all these cases, aggregate amount of false entry is the penalty. Okay, since it is our institute, probably questions might or might not, but generally it is a questionable area. Read through once.
Sir, இதுக்கும் 270A could you tell the difference, sir?
See, 270A is exclusively on the person who is inducing. Okay, certifying, wrong certifying, all these things. Here it is a coalition of fraud. Okay, so those two are completely different. 270 sorry 270A, you are talking about that is
Misreporting and underreporting.
misreporting and underreporting. Okay, sorry. I wrongly took it up with another section. Okay, misreporting and underreporting during the process of assessment. Okay, it might be due to interpretation or not willful. Here it is clear willful, but yeah, misrepresentation and this might tally. Misrepresentation and this might tally. அது வந்து on tax, இது வந்து quantum itself is on the total entry, not on the tax amount.
Oh, okay, sir. But if generally if they frame the question, which penalty should we take, sir?
In this attempt, you should take this penalty, but they will be very clear. They will quote the section if it is 278.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, friends, I believe this as a questionable area. Okay, there has been a perennial dispute whether tax has to be paid before making an assessment. I'll come to that for the first line of assessment little later. For the second level of assessment, that is assessment to be filed with ITAT. Assessment to be filed with IETAT. What about the first level of assessment? That I will speak when I am speaking about the faceless appeal. But at the second level, it says at least 20% of the tax, penalty, fee, or other sum should be paid or provide a bank guarantee. Okay, we cannot be we cannot just like that file an appeal and say I have filed an appeal and I have got the stay order. Okay, now the law is saying pay at least 20% of the amount demanded in the name of tax, interest, fee, penalty, or any other sum, or furnish a bank guarantee. Okay, furnish a security for that amount. Okay, for the balance amount, you can get a stay up to 180 days. For the balance amount, you can get a stay up to 180 days. On expiry of 180 days, the case is not yet over. The case is not yet over. On expiry of 180 days, if it is not due to assessing. Remember, the case is not yet over, but it is not due to the default of assessee. It is the default of the system. On application made to ITAT may extend a period of further 185. So together it will become 365 days if the delay is not attributable to the assessee. If the delay is not attributable to the assessee. Okay, this is the hue cry that is going on in the practical world also, that it is penalizing the assessee. Just like that, the person passes an assessment order and asking the assessee to pay 20% or 100% at the end of the year will be a okay. I think it is there in the courts now hands. Okay, to validate this. Sorry.
Sir, this 253 is prospective or retrospective, sir?
Prospective. Okay, friends. Okay. Now I go to the two things which are considered as the most what I would say landmark move of our tax system. One is faceless assessment and faceless appeal. Both these things, okay, theoretically only. Faceless assessment and faceless information seeking, in lot of places of the act they have mentioned, but notification is not yet issued for them, because 142B, 132C, 133C, a lot of places, 263, 264, okay, all those places they have said CBDT will come out with a notification not beyond 31/3/2023. So the notification is pending. Other law you need not, okay, because if you take the material and see, it will be running for pages. But what is essential is what has been substituted. This section 143(3) and 148, these type of assessment are going to take place faceless or electronically. These are going to take place. The purpose is very simple: to utilize the resources in the best manner, okay, to utilize the electronic resources available and put to use it in a best manner, and also to ensure that we break jurisdictional barrier. Okay, if there is a Chennai based assessee and the Chennai based assessing officer, Chennai based assessee, Chennai based assessing officer, okay, so the proximity will give rise to lot. There is a possibility that there might be mistakes, or this proximity might cause some disturbance to the system. Break the proximity. Jurisdiction. So a person assessing officer sitting in Orissa, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi might audit and might assess a case in the of Chennai based assessee. Vice versa also, a person sitting in Chennai might do it for other places. So we are breaking what is popularly known as the jurisdictional barrier. Before going through it, we have to recollect some of the things. Let us first recollect what is assessment. Assessment is nothing but verification by the assessing officer whether the assessee has declared his income properly, has not under disclosed his income, claimed excessive losses, underpaid his taxes, or claimed excessive refund. This is what is assessment. I am repeating so that you are clear. Assessment is done by an assessing officer. Assessing officer is the appointee of the Government of India Income Tax Department. He is not your appointee. So he will work for the revenue only and not for you. His duty is to ensure that you and me as assessees have not understated our income, claimed excessive losses, underpaid our taxes, or claimed excessive refund. Okay, that is the duty of the assessing officer. Okay, in this process, it might result in more refund, etc. That is different, but he will not take up a case. Oh, I will be friendly to Saurav. He cannot take it because he is not appointed by Saurav. He is appointed by the Government of India Income Tax Department. So the meaning of assessment remains the same. Okay, the meaning of assessment remains the same. The manner only has undergone a change. Okay, this is what I am ensuring, but in a faceless manner. I'm ensuring this, but in a faceless manner, I'm going to do it. Okay, so they call it as maximum government, maximum governance with minimum government. Okay, it is not so. Okay, maximum governance with minimum government is what our prime minister's promised when the scheme was introduced, and he said, I will honor the honest taxpayer, the honor. Okay, so transparency at both ends. Okay, this is the beauty of the scheme practically also. Now I think, okay, sorry for a small deviation. Okay, now I think you are all aware our 26 AS or various other AIR annual information report that are filed is available for both assessee and assessing officer, the same document only. Okay, you can also see that document what they are having. And in 26 AS itself, if you are making some cash withdrawals and other things, all those things are captured. Okay, 26 AS, because bank in their AAR are filing, that is captured in 26 AS. So that is becoming a transparent at both ends. Both ends have the same resources. It is not that previously the assessing officer will hold the information and call the assessee. Assessee is blindfold. Okay, now assessing officer and assessee will have the same information. So in that manner, transparency is ensured at both ends. Okay, and then as I told you, the other thing is breaking jurisdictional barrier. An assessing officer sitting anywhere in the country can assess a person located anywhere else. Okay, so it is breaking jurisdictional barriers. So, how does that entire structure starts? It is a structure. Who is this assessing? I have so far something known as a assessing officer. ITO no tarkar. I go and meet him. Now you are saying that it is faceless. How this is going to happen? Okay, so something like our CPC, something like our CPC is going to be the middle or the center fulcrum of this entire system. Okay, the entire system is going to revolve around what is popularly known as National Faceless Assessment Center. You can also call it as National E-Assessment Center. Why the terminology came is, the other one is known as National Faceless Appeal Center. அதுவும் NFAC, இதுவும் NFAC. So they changed this to, okay, sometimes they call it as National E-Assessment Center. Okay, so giving it a abbreviation of NEC. Okay, because when you take a book or when you read an article, you will wonder what is this NEC and why Watson has not said that. நான் அதுக்கு NEC அதுக்கு பேர் கிடையாது. Because of abbreviation being the same, they want a different abbreviation for this. So they are using the terminology National E-Assessment Center. That can be also National E-Appeal Center. But actually, both are having the same abbreviation NFAC. To a larger extent in our material, I have used the same thing. I have not used the NEC, but you can use, because later when I referred to our study material also, in couple of places they have said NEC, NEC. So they recognize this, okay, as abbreviation. Okay, what is National Faceless Assessment Center's duty? Act as the center body and coordinate between various people. The National Faceless Assessment Center does not perform an independent job. It just performs facilitative job across the stream. Across the stream, it does the facility. It is the head. Anna, the head is not taking any decision. The head is receiving, sending, getting back, sending, communicating. Yeah, okay. But one thing, all communication can be routed through only NFAC. All communication. Nobody can communicate inter-unit, intra-unit, assessee and units cannot communicate without the national center. Without the national center, they both cannot communicate. Anybody cannot communicate. Okay, right? So the end-to-end encryption is not here. Everything is via National Faceless Assessment Center only. Right. Okay, so this will be the single point of communication between everything, my dear friends, be it between the assessing officer or between units. Assessing officer here is assessment unit. Okay, so it acts as one supercomputer. Okay, it acts as one supercomputer which controls and administers the entire data. Okay, it is a supercomputer. Okay, அது வந்து supercomputer தான். Okay, it is automated allocation system. It has an algorithm written in such a manner that they use the artificial intelligence technology and do it. So it is a super communicator and it communicates between various units. Fine. Regional assessment center within the particular region, the jurisdiction. அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ரோல் இருக்க மாதிரி எனக்கு தெரியல as of now. Okay, assessment unit, he is the assessing officer. He is the assessing officer. In our present, whatever we call for assessing officer, this assessment unit is going to do with a difference that he has to delegate lot of authority. Ipo in our pre-September system, pre-October system, I want to check, verify the balances. I, the assessing officer, Saurav is the assessee. I want to verify the balances. I will ask Saurav to produce me books and documents. I myself will verify. If assessing officer or assessment unit will say, verification unit, you just verify and confirm me. I want to cross-examine somebody. Inquiry. I need not now do it. I can ask one of the units to do it. So there are going to be 4 units. There are going to be 4 units. Okay, assessment unit, verification unit, technical unit, review unit. Repeating, assessment unit, verification unit, technical unit, review unit. Assessment is going to be done only by the assessment unit. For a time being, keep the review unit little away. For time being. So, assessment is going to be done by the assessment unit only. ஆனா அசஸ்மெண்ட்ல ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட் இருக்கு. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இன் அவர் எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் சிஸ்டம், in the system which you studied, involvement of TPO, involvement of valuation officer, involvement of special audit. So these things I will say, technical unit, you please assign somebody and do it. Ana now assess unit cannot directly tell the technical unit. Assessment unit cannot directly tell the technical unit. Assessment unit will sell to NFAC, boss, some technical unit, ask them to do it. The assessment unit will never know which technical unit is going to do it. NFAC in turn automatically allocates this work to some verification unit or technical unit, get the information provided. Assessment unit want to verify some documents, verify bank balances, get details from some other person about the assessee, inquiry. Assessment unit will say, NFAC, ask that fellow verification unit to do this. Verification unit will do this, submit the report to NFAC, because verification unit will never know who is the assessing officer or which assessment unit is it. Submit a unit report to NFAC. NFAC will in turn forward it to AU. So AU is having two subordinates, but you cannot technically call them as subordinate. They are only equal in rank. And the communication cannot go like this to NFSC to this, there to there. Okay, the communication can only, there is only one point communication, that is NFAC. So what is the role of assessment unit? Perform the role of assessing officer. Assessment is being done. What is assessment? Income not understated, loss not excessive claim, tax not underpaid, refund is not excess. Assessment unit shall identify points or issue of material for determination of liability or refund. It shall seek information or clarification, analyze the materials furnished by the assessee, and do such other functions with complete assessment. Okay, all information and details required for assessment are only communicated through NFAC. I cannot ask the assessee, can you give me this detail? That's all. I can only ask NFAC. NFAC will only issue the notice to the assessee, and you are not supposed to directly communicate. Verification unit. Functions such as enquiry. Enquiry means about you to some other person. So I go and inquire about you. Examination of books and documents. Examination of witness will be performed by verification unit. Previously, assessing officer was performing all these things. Now you have a VU exclusively perform. Technical unit. Valuation, advice on legal, accounting, forensic, information technology, transfer pricing, and data analytics are all done by technical unit. More for valuation, transfer pricing, data analytics, transfer pricing ரொம்ப useful okay, and any of the forensic aspects. Just now we saw in penalty also, those like things the technical units will deal. So remember, there are three primary things: assessment unit, which will take the help of verification unit and technical unit to complete assessment. I am again repeating. I am repeating for one particular purpose. I am not bringing the review unit now at all. Okay, I have only told you three units: assessment unit, verification unit, technical unit. இவங்க மூணு பேரும், all the three put together, what they perform is only assessment. What they perform is only assessment. In this, assessment unit is the superior one. Not in terms of hierarchy I am talking, in terms of control and ability. So assessment unit will ask NFAC, ask verification unit to do this. Assessment unit will ask NFAC, ask technical unit to do this. VU or TU, after completing, will come back and give it to NFAC, and then they will forget it is for assessment unit to take care. So the role of assessment unit is identify points and issue material for determination of liability and refund. Seek information and clarification from the assessee, analyze, and from other units. Analyze the material furnished by the assessee and other functions that are needed to complete assessment. I am not talking about review unit till I hit that level. Okay, right. So where does this assessment start? Okay, I have told you three units. I have told you a parent body. I not even call it as a parent body. I call it as the supreme authority, or even just supreme authority. Supreme, NFAC. Okay, so they are going to start the entire process. What is the first step for assessment is issue of notice. Okay, before going into this steps, I want to bring it to your mind certain things. I want to bring it to your mind certain things. One, there are two types of notices I have asked you to remember, or okay, let's forget anything. There are two types of notices. Notices seeking information, clarification, asking you to furnish some things are known as normal notice. The second type of notice is asking you why I should not do this. The second type of notice is asking you, tell me the reason why I should not do this. That is popularly known as show cause notice. That is popularly known as show cause notice. Show me the reason why I cannot do that. Okay, remember this. There are two types of notices. Okay, remember this. And in our legal system, the fundamental, the bottom line is principle of natural justice. The fundamental or the bottom line is principle of natural justice. Give him the opportunity, and the him is whoever is the affected party. Okay, you cannot do anything without giving him an opportunity to be heard, without giving him an opportunity to be represented. Okay, you cannot do that. Is the fundamental of our legal system. And remembering this, show cause notice is the way of opportunity to be heard. Okay, by issuing a show cause notice, I am going to give him an opportunity, asking him, tell me why I should not do it. Now opportunity is given. So whenever the other party is going to get affected, okay, asking you to file return. The other party is not at all getting affected. I am just seeking an information. Telling you to pay tax, it is an the other party is getting affected. So before that, let me protect myself, or before that, the law ensures that I give him an opportunity to be heard. So remember these things. Okay, notices, principle of natural justice is superior. Show cause notice is a way of fulfilling principle of natural justice. Okay, so it all starts with issue of notice. நம்ம பார்த்திருக்கோம். We know under 143 subsection 2, notice will be issued within 6 months from the end of the year in which the return is filed. Okay, just giving you a brief. Okay, okay, that asking him to do this. Under 142, give me notice will be issued asking you to file return, to give books of documents and other things, asking you whether I can go ahead with a special audit in your cases, asking the valuation officer to do some work. That is the starting point. Taxpayer, that is the assessee's case, get assessed if he has furnished a return voluntarily or in response to a notice under 142(1), okay, 148 reassessment, okay, 143(2) scrutiny assessment, okay, in response to these things, or fails to furnish or fails to cooperate. Fails to furnish or fails to cooperate. Audit, I have ordered, you are not doing it. I have ordered you to file your return, you are pondering, okay, you are not filing your return. Okay, fails to cooperate or fail to furnish. In these cases, assessment. Okay, NFAC will send a first notice to an assessee saying, boss, we are taking your case for assessment. இது ஒரு intimation தான், இது show cause இல்ல. You cannot say, how dare you are taking my case for assessment. No, this is just an intimation to you, boss. We have taken your case for assessment. A notice under 143(2) on assessee by NFAC specifying that this case is chosen for assessment. the reason will also be specified. Epo reason, the 148 la reason to believe should be there. Now it is directly available. That's why I told you, now both AO and you have the same detail. Okay, so there is no more lack of transparency. Systematically, I am saying, okay, practical application, there might be lot of complications because law will mature in its course of time, but systematically there will be. So the reason will also be there. Assessee needs to file his response. Okay, but don't think that response is going to be greatly considered and all. The national center will then assign the case selected for the purpose of e-assessment to a specific assessment unit, okay, through an automated allocation system. This is by this is CPC down. This is by automated allocation system. Okay, one assessment unit I will allot. That assessment unit can be anywhere and they can be sitting anywhere. Okay, so let us continue the story. Okay, the NFAC has selected Saurav's case for assessment. Okay, so it will send a notice to Saurav to just intimate him. I'm not asking him, to just intimate him that boss, your case is selected for assessment. These are all the facts because it will be available. Saurav can reply to that, and the reply NFAC will not read it because NFAC is a computer. Okay, you remember Endiran Muttal mission. Okay, so NFAC cannot read it. NFAC has to send that thing. He replied to somebody to read it. No, it is a computer, so it will allot the case to an assessment unit and also send Saurav's reply. Assessment unit will reply the Amstane. Then I will. That assessment unit let them take the decision. NFAC. That's why I said NFAC is supreme, but I removed the word authority. NFAC is supreme. Okay, powerless Mari. Okay, right? So let us come back. Okay, so I have chosen the Saurav's case. I allotted to an assessment unit. Now, what assessment unit should do? Whatever assessing officer will do, assessment unit will do. Assessment unit is going to interact with three people. Repeating, assessment unit is interacting with three people. Assessee, verification unit, technical unit. Repeating, the assessment unit is going to interact with three people. Okay, for a minute. You can draw this also if you want, or if you are able to listen and understand. Okay, later when you are able to listen and understand also fine. If you want small drawings, you can just make in your notebook. Okay, I leave it to you, boss. Okay, right? So assessment unit can interact with three people, not directly through NFAC. So to complete the assessment, they can call for some information and documents from assessee. They can ask verification unit to do some verification. They can call technical unit to do some technical aspects like valuation, transfer pricing, etc. They can do assessment unit. So what will they do? They will tell NFAC, I want from assessee this one. I want verification the unit to do this one. I want technical unit to do this one. NFAC will send notice to Saurav. Your assessing officer wants this, please submit. And then will place a requisition or a direction to the technical unit and verification unit, please do this. Saurav submits to NFAC. NFAC will forward it to assessment unit. Technical unit and verification unit, they will do their job. They will also issue notice to Saurav. Verification unit want to verify something. They want to issue notice to Saurav. They will send the notice to NFAC. NFAC will send it to Saurav. Saurav will submit. It will send it to verification unit. Saurav will do the TP and submit. It will send to the technical unit. Technical unit and verification unit, after going through whatever Saurav has provided, will finally send a report to NFAC. NFAC will forward that report to assessing. நீ NFAC என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? NFAC is taking independent decisions. No. NFAC is a facilitator, supercomputer. No doubt it is supreme. But in terms of authority, these people have the authority. Okay? Right. Coming back. So, what is the role of assessment unit? Now, assessment exam, it can be a theory question only. It can be role, it can be about unit, it can be anything. There are multiple things to be questioned for the next 2-3 attempts. Okay? Right? What is the role of assessment unit? Please remember three people they are communicating with. Assessee, technical unit, verification unit. Technical unit and verification unit are inside the department. Assessee is outside the department. So assessee I will issue notice. On a technical unit ko verification unit ko, I'll just intimate them, boss, do this work. Okay. Once a case gets assigned to an assessment unit, such unit shall communicate the process. It may request NFAC things. Obtain further information, document or evidence from the assessee or any other person on behalf of assessee. Okay, any other person. Conduct certain enquiry by verification unit. Seek technical assistance from technical unit. So, their communication is three-way. Super simple to understand. Okay, as soon as assessment unit takes the job, they can ask assessee to give, they can ask verification unit to do, they can. Okay, so this is. So what will NFAC do? NFAC shall issue notice or requisition to the assessee or any other person. Any other person can requisition. Assessee can notice to obtain information, documents and evidence sought by the AU, assessment unit. So it will give it to you. Okay. NFAC shall assign to the verification unit request made by the assessment unit for verifying document. NFAC shall assign to the technical unit the request made. உங்களுக்கு notice. இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் assignment. Okay. Assessee submits the response to the notice within time or such extended time. எங்கெல்லாம் time இருக்கோ, I have not typed everywhere. Wherever they have set time or such extended time, within the time or such extended time. Okay. NFAC will forward it to the assessment unit. Report received from verification unit. So, whatever assessee gave, I will get it to AU. Whatever these two things gave, I will give it to AU. After consent, this can happen multiple times. I'm not saying only once. It can happen 10 times also, but this is the route. Okay. Assessment unit, after consideration of all relevant material gathered, pass the most important comes here. That is what is missing in the present case. Henceforth, it is pass a draft order, not a final assessment order. Ipalla final till last year, final assessment. Okay, either accepting the returned income or modifying the same. Draft order is sent to NFAC. Okay. AU, that is assessment unit, while making the draft order, provide details of penalty proceedings to be initiated to the NFAC. Okay. Once more, let's just understand it from a vacuum space. I know that there are three people, that there are three units: assessment unit, technical unit, verification unit. Each has its own functional. Assessment unit seems to be the superior unit which is completing the assessment. Technical unit and verification unit are supportive units for facilitating assessment. Okay, I have taken a case of for assessment. NFAC will pick on a random basis through an automated case a case for assessment. For our story purposes, we have said that Saurav's case is taken by NFAC for the purpose of assessment. First notice will be sent to, first an intimation will be sent to Saurav saying that, boss, I have taken your case for assessment. These are all the facts because of which I have taken your case. The reply given by Saurav, whether Saurav replies or not, the reply given by Saurav does not mean that the assessment will not be conducted. Once, okay, we all know once 143.2 notice is issued, 143.3 assessment order is mandatory. What starts with 143.2 can only stop with 143.3, no intermediate. So I issued to Saurav. And then what I hear is NFAC asked, assign the case to one assessment unit. Look, he is the assessee, you can ask for. You can ask for through me. Now comes, if at all Saurav has replied, that also I send it to the assessment unit. Now what should assessment unit do? Okay, assessment unit should do assessment of the assessee. So they are going to communicate with three people. Assessee, who is an external person, technical unit and verification unit, which are my internal people, but I cannot directly communicate. All communication can be done only by NFAC. So I will send to NFAC, from assessee I want these details. Get it? Ask verification unit to do this job, or technical unit to do this job. NFAC will send a notice or requisition to the assessee or any other person asking them, look, your assessment unit want this, provide this. And will assign to a technical unit and verification unit, please do this. Those two will also send notices which will be sent to the assessee, got and given it to them. Verification unit, how will they verify? I want this document. They will send it to NFAC. I will give it to Saurav. Saurav will send it to me. I will give it to verification unit. After completing their process, they will come back and submit me a report, which I will forward it to the assessment unit. Boss, whatever you got here. This can happen multiple times. After that, assessment unit taking into fact all the materials gathered directly from the assessee through NFAC, all the documents gathered, and the report of technical unit and the report of verification unit shall pass a draft order. The draft order can either accept the income returned by the assessee or modify, and then send it to NFAC and tell NFAC, boss, penalty proceedings next to be initiated. The branching out story in Tamil, Kilai Kadai, okay, branching out, okay. NFAC assessment unit wants some details from assessee. NFAC sent it. I sent it to Saurav. That fellow is not at all replying to me. Saurav as an example. Personally, I know him. Okay. So, he is not replying to me. He is not responding to me. Number normal, what we are studying. Okay. Where the assessee fails to cooperate. 144. Best judgment assessment. Same here. Where I ask him to do it, or where the verification unit or technical unit asks some detail to Saurav and he is not cooperating, I will do best judgment assessment. I'll ask the assessment unit to do BJA. Directly sollama, no. Anything which is detrimental to the assessee, principle of natural justice, our law ensures that. Our law's primary aim is to give an opportunity to the assessee. Where the assessee is not cooperating, where a case is selected for assessment and allocated to an AU, then such AU shall request the NFAC to obtain some information and documents evidence from the assessee. NFAC in turn send notice for obtaining the same. Assessee is required to respond to that notice. Response to a notice is mandatory. Okay. where assessee fails to respond to that notice. It can be audit, it can be verification, it can be anything. NFAC shall issue a notice under section 144. Okay, this is known as a show cause notice. Show me the reason. Since you are not cooperating, why can't I take your case for best judgment assessment? Where after the issue of notice for carrying 144, assessee response, accepted. I will go by 143 itself. Okay, once you start cooperating, I will accept. Where assessee fails to respond to the show cause notice, where assessee fails to respond to the no flow cause notice, NFAC cannot do the assessment. NFAC will intimate the assessment. You go ahead and complete the assessment under 144. NFAC will inform the assessment unit to prepare the draft order. Remember, assessment unit does not have the ability to finalize the order. Okay, to prepare the draft order under 144, AU shall prepare the draft order and forward it to NFAC. With the available materials in hand and with various things, AU will do it. Where assessee fails to cooperate. Assessee cooperated, you know that the AU shall make a draft order. Here also it is draft order. Here also it is draft order. The sections are different. 143, inga 144. Okay, Seri draft order vandachi. Okay, what should NFAC do with the draft order? What should NFAC do with the draft order? Okay, listen. In the draft assessment order, can have two things which we all now know. Either accept the assessee's return or modify it. Shall I repeat? The draft assessment order, okay, we have studied this here. After consideration of all material gathered, a draft assessment order either accepting the returned income or modifying the same will be passed by the AU and sent it to NFAC. Accept பண்ணிட்டேன். Whatever is the returned income, assessment unit has said he has submitted everything. He seems to be a good fellow. As Aurav I know he's nice. Then finalize the order. Nothing else is there. Nothing else is there. Finalize the order. Where there is no variation, but modification is there. In the previous thing, the modifying order will be passed. It will go on an appeal. Long days will take. They want to cut short this. So, where AO has modified the assessment, okay, modified the income returned, and NFAC has got it. If I finalize this order, unwantedly appeal, I have two options. I here is NFAC. I have two options. I will send the draft order to the assessee himself. Show me the reason why I cannot finalize this order. Show me the reason why extra tax cannot be collected from you because there are some additions which are made in the income returned by you. Show me the reason. Second, looking at the quantum and looking at the range of things that are discussed in the assessment order, NFAC, எல்லாமே automated. NFAC is of the opinion it is better if somebody cross checks this. Auditல தான பண்றீங்க. The entire assessment process, okay, please don't get affected, okay, is like a big four தான நீங்க, okay. Sir, tax அது நாங்க இல்ல சார், அது அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். அங்க போனீங்கன்னா ஒரு மேனேஜர். சார் this நாங்க அவர் சார் பேங்க் ரெகன்சிலேஷன் ஆடிட் தான் சார். பேங்க் ரெகன்சிலேஷன் ஆடிட் தான் இல்ல சார். பேங்க் ரெகன்சிலேஷன் அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் தான் பண்ணும். ஓகே, so looking at the quantum, NFAC is of the opinion that it is better somebody cross verifies it instead of directly issuing, analyzing the risk, analyzing the quantum. I want to ensure completeness. I want to ensure that I am not doing any mistake. So what I did is I sent it for review to a review unit. Now comes this man called the review unit. He does not come during assessment. Review unit will never come into play when the assessment is happening. After the assessment is over, if NFAC is of the opinion, considering the risk, quantum and various issues involved, it is better for me to cross-check one before giving it to the assessee. I will send it to a person called review unit. Then only review unit comes into the picture. If nothing is there, review unit no உங்களுக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது. If there is something, review unit comes into the picture. So again from the top, assessment is over and assessing officer passes the order, he might accept. NFAC will examine the draft order by an automated examination tool for risk management. Post its examination, 3 options are available. Finalize the assessment order. எப்போ finalize பண்ணுவேன்? Okay, when there is no modification. Okay, when there is no modification, and serve a copy of the assessee along with the demand if any, and if there are any penalty proceedings. Where modifications are proposed, 2 options. Serve a show cause notice to the assessee. Directly you can serve a show cause notice to the assessee, calling him to specify why this modification cannot be accepted. In this level itself, let us close it now. You tell me. Specify the reasons why the assessment cannot be completed with this modification. Okay, I'll complete this part of the story and come to review unit. Okay, so assessee I have sent it. Assessee shall make his submission against the draft assessment order by furnishing his response. Assessee will say, no, this addition is wrong. Punjab High Court la indha mari or judgment irukku. Okay, such and such this is only a capital revenue expenditure, not a capital expenditure. Like that, assessee can give his reply. Where no response is filed, NFAC will finalize the order, draft order. If no response is filed, they will finalize. Where response is filed, I cannot do anything. Assessment unit, in the response. Now you come back with a fresh assessment order. Okay, where response is filed, then the same will be communicated to the assessment unit. AU, after considering the response furnished by the assessee, make what is known as a revised draft assessment order. Again, as finalize only NFAC will do. Revised draft. What is revised? Modified order, revised order. Revised assessment order that is, after getting the response from the assessee, they will file a revised draft order and send it to NFAC. Revised order vandhathu. What should I do? Again, I have two options. I don't want the system to prolong where there are no modification prejudicial to the assessee. Finalize the order. Where the modification are prejudicial to the assessee, go back to the step, provide opportunity, and then the cycle will come back. Okay, what is popularly known for you and me in Excel as circular reference, let it go on a circular vicious circle, it will go on. Okay, so between where there are no modification, finalized. Where there are modifications, first issue a show cause notice to the assessee, get the reply, give it to AU. AU will then finalize the revised draft assessment order, send it to you. Further modifications are there, go back to the assessee, get the reply, send it. Okay, and finally they will finalize the order. Okay, right? The response shall be dealt with NFAC and the order will be finalized. Okay, the NFAC has only the right. Now I am going to what is popularly known as the review unit. Okay,
Yes, sir.
assign the draft order. Third option, assign the draft order to the review unit in one of the places by automatic for conducting of review. I want to cross verify. இப்போ படிக்கலாம். What is the role of a review unit? What is the
Sir,
role? Yes, friend.
sir, so three times, so first we issue a show cause notice under 144. He does not reply to that. So again, while modification one notice and then so three times issue, sir.
Yes, issue ஆகும்.
எல்லாமே it is show cause notice under 144.
Yeah. Well, no, sir. Depending upon the nature of assessment. 143லயும் show cause notice issue பண்ணலாம். 144லயும் notice அப்படின்றது show cause notice included. Okay, if your case is under 144, then show cause notice first one time, and then for the assessment you need not have the section. It is show cause notice asking you why the modification cannot be carried.
Okay, sir.
What is the role of review unit? Okay, the review unit reviews assessment unit whether they have done their work properly. The review unit is ensuring that the assessment unit has done their work properly, whether all relevant material has been brought on record, whether relevant point of fact and law has been duly mentioned in the order, whether the issue on addition or disallowance has been discussed in the order. I make an addition of 1 lakh. You discuss. Assessment order should be a speaking order. Okay. Whether applicable judicial decisions have been considered and dealt with. We all know without considering the Supreme Court judgment, they sometimes pass. Arithmetical function, correctness and any other function. Review unit reviews assessment unit's work, whether the assessment order is detailed, considering all the judicial aspects, discussing all the essential things, bringing out the points and facts clearly. This is the review unit or the job. So NFAC is worried about the risk of this assessment order. Instead of issuing it directly to the assessee, it has sent to the review unit. The review unit will receive it and check for these things. Review unit is satisfied. Yeah, correct. Then review unit will send to NFAC. Everything is fine. Go ahead. Review unit feels some points are missed. Review unit feels some points are missed, or the assessment order. So they say, see, these points are not discussed. I think the assessment order is wrong. So I think the following has to be modified. Review unit saying, one law which I always say, which is best to read along with psychology, is income tax law. I those students who have traveled along with me, okay, in the inter first class, I used to say psychology and income tax are. Now, NFAC received the review unit's modification. They cannot send it to the same assessment unit. Adu rubbing on the wrong side. Ego affect பண்ணும். Review unit has suggested some modification. தப்பு பண்ணிருக்கியா? இன்னும் ஒழுங்கா prepare பண்ணலையா? That will only rub salt on the wound. So the law has said the review unit's modification will be sent to some other assessment unit, which is not the original unit which carried out the assessment, but some other assessment unit it will be sent. And said, look, this assessment unit passed this order. The review unit says make this modification. You go through it and tell me whether this modification is correct. If it is correct, pass a modified order. Assessee will never know which assessment unit is going to send him. Assessee will get the order. So, NFAC will send it to some other assessment unit and say, boss, check this. If you are convinced to send me a modified assessment order, they will send a modified assessment order, and now I can issue a show cause notice, or I can finalize the order accordingly. Okay, so this the small ego is also taken care. Okay, where okay, role of review unit, okay, and procedure after review, where draft assessment order is referred to a review unit, then the unit shall perform its function. A draft order will be referred where there are legal or intricate issues, including big quantum I'm seeking, or as well as risk. On receipt of the draft order, the review unit may concur with the draft order. ஒண்ணுமே problem இல்ல, கரெக்டா தான் பண்ணிருக்கான். And intimate NFAC. Suggest modification as it may deem fit. Okay, suggest modification. Review unit is modifying the order. Okay, as it may deem fit. NFAC on receiving concurrence finalize the draft order, and if the modification, provide opportunity to the assessee. Okay, concurrence, if it is concurrence, modification is there, so show cause notice. Okay, and finalize the order. Where review unit has suggested modification, review unit has said modify, then NFAC shall assign the case to another assessment unit other than the assessment unit which has passed this draft order. So no egos. As far as the assessment order assessment unit which passed the order, நான் கொடுத்துட்டேன்ப்பா, இதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன வேணா பண்ணிக்கோ. Only if it goes back to him saying you have done mistake, he will get there. So let him not be involved. Shall assign a case to another, okay, which will be better word, another assessment unit other than the assessment unit which has conducted the assessment. The assigned assessment unit shall consider the modification proposed and send a modified draft assessment order. So, mood assessment order soltuma. Normal assessment order where there is no problem, pass it, set a draft. NFAC will finalize. Revised assessment order where there is modification, I send it to Saurav submits the reply, I send it to my the same assessment unit, they give me a revised order. The assessment order passed had some technical, legal, risk, quantum. I referred to an RU. RU said these should be modified. I send it to some other unit. They give me a modified assessment, draft assessment order. On receipt of draft assessment order, again the procedure, the cycle comes back. Finalize the draft order or send it for show cause notice. Ask the assessee in the modified assessment order, do you have any problem? And then finalizes. Assessee shall make his submission against the draft by furnishing his response to NFAC or before the time, on or before the time, extended time always there. Where no response is filed, finalize. Where response is filed, then the same shall be sent to the second assessment unit. That one who prepared the modified unit. Okay. AU, after considering the response, make a revise the draft assessment and send it, and the cycle goes on only once, and then NFAC will finalize and issue the assessment order. NFAC will finalize and issue the assessment order from top to bottom. From top to bottom in a very quick manner. Okay, I select a case. I is NFAC now. I select a case. I send the intimation. He responds. I gave it to an assessment unit. Assessment unit asks me to get from an assessee to get some verification done, to get some technical done. I send the notice to assessee asking him to give it. I ask the technical unit to do the job. I ask verification unit to do the job. They will also tell me that I want this from assessee. I'll send it from assessee and give it to them. In this process, assessee fails to cooperate. I will send a show cause notice to the assessee saying I'm going to go ahead with best judgment assessment. Once he receives the show cause notice, he says, "Ayyo, I don't want BJA." He starts cooperating. Normal starts. He doesn't respond to it. Okay. Then I'll ask the assessment unit with the available material in your hand, pass the assessment order and do the assessment under best judgment assessment. That is one part of it over. That is a Kilai Kadai. That is a branch story. Coming to the main story. Assessee submits the whatever documents, other things he wants. Technical unit, after getting everything from the assessee, submits the report. Verification unit, I send it everything to assessment unit. This can happen multiple times. Assessment unit, after taking into account all relevant material gathered, after all considering all the evidences and reports, shall pass a draft assessment order. The draft assessment order may concur or may agree with the return filed by the assessee or will modify. Now and then pass it to NFAC. If you want, take penalty. NFAC comes now, sees the draft assessment order. They have three things. If it concurs, finish the assessment order, finalize, issue demand notice, issue everything. If there is a modification, there are two options available. Send the modification to the assessee by issuing a show cause notice. Why you should not go out with the modification? Assessee response, give it back to assessment unit. Look, after considering assessee's response, they can file again a revise the draft order. I then come to assessee. Look, show cause notice. He responds. Now I will finalize. I will not go on with this. But there is a risk. I went to the review unit. Review unit has two options: concur or modify. Concurs, no problem. Issue show cause notice. Modifies, problem arises. I want to ensure that modified review unit is not the assessment unit. They cannot pass assessment order. They can only suggest modification. Somebody has to pass the assessment order. I cannot go back to this fellow because he will get hurt. So I find some other person asking the assessment unit, boss, can you do that? And he submits me a modified assessment order. Using that, I issue a show cause notice or finalize. I issued a show cause notice. Assessee respond. I send it to that other unit, which now prepared that modified assessment order. He will consider the assessee's response, again finalize and give me a draft order. I can issue a show cause notice on the basis of response. I myself finalize. If this is a transfer pricing case or a non-residence case, there is one person called dispute resolution panel who get involved. DRP, the assessment order, that is draft assessment order, should be passing through DRP, where on receipt of draft assessment order, the eligible assessee, okay, transfer pricing cases are non-resident, files his objection with the DRP. You know, that is a resolution mechanism. Then NFAC shall follow such direction received from DRP to the assessor. DRP will say, no, you know, DRP is superior. DRP is a quasi-judicial body, okay? And they will give direction. No, prepare the assessment order like this, okay? Yeah, you shall prepare. There. Now you don't have an option because it is set by a superior authority and in conformity with the direction. Assessment over. NFAC will do the remaining works. NFAC shall finalize the draft assessment order, serve a copy of such to the assessee along with demand notice, payment of tax. Such order will also specify initiating of penalty. NFAC shall, after completing the assessment, transfer all electronic record to the concerned assessing officer, jurisdictional assessing officer. Okay, இப்போதான் அந்த சென்னை அசசிங் ஆபீசருக்கு ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்ணி ஃபர்தர் ஆக்ஷன்ஸ் ஏதாவது ரெக்கவரி அந்த மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா NFAC is empowered to transfer the case of assessee to the concerned assessing officer because sometimes proximity issues comes, so assessment unit is not able to get the things done. NFAC says, wait, I'll ask the assessing officer itself to do. பவரா கொடுத்து வச்சிருக்காங்க, let's wait for things.
Sir,
listening. So
sir, in the mari திருப்பி they are going to the assessee and seeking his opinion for the order. Is it done to eliminate the appeals?
Yes, it is done to eliminate appeals. You know, that is the complaint, Leah. 4,850 cases are pending with so and so 7,800. That's why.
Sir, if I'm right, this came in September 2020. What about the cases on that date, sir?
It has been converted into faceless.
Even the
faceless are also converted into faceless.
Oh, the proceedings done so far, will it be good
the
or will the
are transferred electronically?
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Procedure for penalty, because I told you initiation of penalty is also there. Penalty can be recommended by any unit. Why I am saying any unit? Because assessee might not cooperate with any unit. Verification unit can also say he is not cooperating. I asked him to send some documents, he is not sending. Technical unit can say I asked him to for valuation, he is not doing. Okay, where they are of opinion that assessee is not cooperating or responding. In the course of proceeding, any unit may recommend initiation of penalty proceeding for non-compliance of notice, direction or order issued. It can be initiated against assessee or any other person. Any other person means on behalf of assessee, I am asking someone, he is also not responding. The unit shall send the recommendation to NFAC. They cannot finalize. NFAC on request on receipt of recommendation shall serve a show cause notice on the assessee. Direct order kadiyadu. Every place, this is the beauty. Okay, principle of natural justice. Show cause notice on the assessee, okay, or any other person seeking clarification as to why I should not go for a penalty. You have not cooperated. Response received will be sent to the unit who recommended that penalty. And the said unit can consider the respond, either drop the penalty or make an order of penalty. Draft order. Send it to NFAC. NFAC shall levy penalty as per the draft order. NFAC will then transfer the file to jurisdictional assessing officer for recovery and other things. So here also draft, here also show cause notice. Principle of natural justice is superior. Principle of natural justice is superior. everything is electronic communication, be it within the unit or with the assessee or with any other person. Communication can be electronic. Electronic na enna sir? Communication with the assessee or any other person shall be placing an authenticated in the registered account. Okay, placing something authenticated copy in the registered account of the assessee. Okay, put it in his 26AS மாதிரி இருக்கிற இடத்துல போட்டுருங்க. Assessee can log in and check. Okay, that is what is going on. Sending a copy of the registered email. Okay, right, or real time alert mobile app. Okay, they are developing, so that in the app there will be a pop-up saying that boss, something is there for you, go and open that box. Okay, right. So everything can be electronic. NFAC is the central nerve. Inter-unit communication shall be done through or via NFAC only. All electronic records has to be authenticated both by NFAC and by the assessee by having digital signature. Okay. However, where assessee is not liable to have a digital signature, then in the OTP mari, okay, shall be done through electronic verification code, nothing but OTP. Okay, assessee shall file his response also through the registered account, and acknowledgement will be sent by NFAC. Sir, personal hearing possible? Possible. Personal hearing is possible again by video conferencing technique, that too only for key issues. Normally under faceless assessment regime, a person would not be required to appear personally or through authorized representative. However, where a variation is proposed, the modification varumbodhu, in the draft order or revised order or modified order, and an opportunity, show cause notice unquote, and an opportunity is provided by to the assessee by issuing show cause notice, then assessee or his representative can request for a video call. Okay, everything to communicate. Everybody might not be very good in communicating in written language. They might be orally able to explain. That's why this is facilitated. Then assessee or his authorized representative may request for personal hearing or so as to make his oral submission. Okay. Then the CCIT, DIGT of the relevant unit in which the concerned unit is set up may approve the request. Adu record பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, and used for further references. Can be anything, it can be a questionable area. If you read it once, twice, you will be thorough with this. Okay, so since it is everything is electronic, okay, the powers are also given. The principal chief commissioner or principal director in charge of National E-Assessment Center, that's what they call it. It is actually faceless, but I told you they want a different abbreviation, so they call it E-Assessment, shall with the approval of CBDT lay down standard procedures process. இன்னும் இதெல்லாம் வரல, இதுக்கெல்லாம் பவர் இருக்கு. For service of notice, receipt of information from person, issue of acknowledgement to that person, process of provision of e-proceeding facility including login aspects, accessing, verification and authentication of information, receipt, storage and retrieval of information in a centralized manner, general administration for redressal of grievances, and circumstances for approving personal hearings. இதெல்லாம் powers which are given to the regional faceless assessment center. In that there will be a DGIT, CCIT. For them these powers are given under the law. Okay, other faceless things that are going to be are survey, collection of information, okay, right, and presence of people are all going to be faceless, okay, in the future. Similarly, that is, inquiry or valuation is going to be faceless. No more it is going to be asking the assessee to come, okay. Then there will be rectification of mistake of assessment order is going to be faceless, and also issue of lower TDS certificate etc. are going to be faceless. For these schemes, or powers are given to frame schemes. The next part of our discussion is faceless appeals. Okay. The next part of our discussion is faceless appeal. Okay, right. What is this faceless appeal? Again, eliminating the physical presence, breaking the judicial barrier, and ensuring the best utilization of information technology. Okay. As of now, the first appellate authority alone is replaced. ITAT is not faceless yet. Okay. CIT appeals, that has been made faceless. The first appellate authority has been already made faceless. ITAT is yet to become faceless. Okay. But with the pandemic around, the high courts and the Supreme Courts are itself conducting electronically, but not faceless, but electronically some lot of things. So a lot of scope are there in the future to make more changes in this direction. Okay, so section was amended to give central government the power to notify an e-appeal, electronic appeal scheme, okay, for greater efficiency, transparency, eliminating interface between assessee and appellant is nothing but the assessee and the commissioner, okay, optimizing the utilization of technology, introducing an appeal with dynamic jurisdiction, that is, no, breaking the jurisdiction barrier. From 25th September, the scheme came into effect. Here also, the abbreviation unfortunately is the same. Okay, National Faceless Appeal Center, the Supreme, which is going to do all the communication, single point of communication, going to receive draft order, finalize the order, all these things. Regional Faceless Appeal Center, where they are going to be located and doing the work, and only one unit, appeal unit. Only one unit. Here AU stands for appeal unit. Okay, the term AU stands for appeal unit. The appeal unit powers are similar to Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals powers. Okay, only one unit. Sir, only one unit. What will they do if they want to verify something? They want to do some technical analysis. What happens is the two supremes will come and speak now. The appeal unit will say, I want somebody to verify this. National Faceless Appeal Scheme will inform National Faceless Assessment Center, boss, ask one of your unit to do this work. National Faceless Assessment Center will do through their technical assessment or other units, get the report, give it to National Faceless Appeal Scheme Center, and in turn it will go to appeal unit. So the assessment unit is also going to be part of it. சரி நம்ம இப்போ நார்மல் சிச்சுவேஷனுக்கு வரலாம். அசஸிங் ஆஃபீஸர் is the defendant, appellant is the assessee, assessing officer defendant. இங்க assessment unit is the defendant. ஆனா assessment unit cannot communicate with anybody. Assessment unit does not have the power to communicate directly. So the defendant becomes NFAC, National Faceless Assessment Center becomes the defendant. அவ்வளவுதான். லா அதேதான். ஓகே, லா அதேதான். Interestingly, at a later stage, you will see 3 appeal units also getting involved. Let's start. National Faceless Appeal Center facilitate the conduct of faceless appeal as an intermediary between all centers and assessee. NFAC is vested with the jurisdiction. RFAC region based. Appeal unit, typically the functions of CIT appeal. The functions which CIT shall perform is now with appeal unit. However, the memorandum also explains what they are doing. Facilitate the conduct of e-appeal, perform the function of disposing the appeal, which includes admitting additional grounds of appeal, making further inquiries, directing the National Faceless Assessment Center, directing the national director all through appeal center, directing the National Faceless Assessment Center or assessing officer. எதுக்கு சார் assessing officer? Sir, assessment is completed under manual system and appeal has gone to faceless system. Assessment is completed under manual system, that is before September 2020. Appeal is in faceless. So இப்போ assessing officer தானே, அப்போ NFAC கிடையாது. So directing the National Faceless Assessment Center or assessing officer to make further inquiry. So they are not having any unit. They will ask, boss, you make. Seeking information on clarification, providing opportunity of being heard, analysis of material, review of order and such other function. Review of order, அது என்னன்னு நான் உங்களுக்கு அப்புறம் சொல்றேன். Okay, right? So please understand what are all the duties. Facilitating the process, disposing of the appeal, taking additional grounds, asking the National Faceless Assessment Center, which is the defendant or assessing officer, to make further inquiries, seeking more clarifications and fresh grounds, providing opportunity, analysis of material, etc. Review of draft order, I will tell you. So they will have commissioner appeals are replaced. Admission of an appeal. Anga notice mari inga. Yeah. Assessment order. Okay, let's continue the story. Saurav has received the assessment order. Saurav is aggrieved by the assessment order. Within 30 days, he can go for an appeal. He files a memorandum. Suppose due to some reason, he is unable to file within 30 days. He states the reason and files after the period of 30 days. Now, appeal unit, NFAC will require, NFAC here is National Faceless Appeal Center, will receive it and forward it to appeal unit. Appeal unit can take a decision. No, the reason seems to be genuine, I will take the appeal. No, the reason is not genuine, I am rejecting the appeal. Whatever it is, they will communicate to NFAC. NFAC in turn will communicate to Saurav saying that, boss, your appeal is accepted or your appeal is rejected. Where an appeal is preferred against the assessment order. Okay, National Faceless Appeal Center may allocate the appeal to any of the appeal unit under, okay, no jurisdiction, nothing. Appeal needs to be filed within 30 days of service of assessment order. Where there is a delay in filing appeal, appeal unit may admit that if the reasons shown are just and sufficient. Where there is a delay and the reason provided are not satisfactory. Reason provided are not satisfactory. AU da NFSC AU will reject. Okay, AU shall reject the application and communicate to NFSC. Okay, on the question, because ITAT I told you, okay, 20% of the tax pay பண்ணணும், or you should ensure that you give bank guarantee. Balance has to be paid within 180 days. Another 185 days of extension you can get. Maximum you cannot go beyond 365. That 185 is based upon the fact that the mistake is not on the part of assessee. Inga, I told you at that time for CIT will come. On the question whether tax has to be paid before filing appeal, section 249 specifies that where the assessee has not filed the return of income. Okay, if you have filed the return of income, what you are contesting is the addition. If you have not filed the return of income, base itself is wrong. Then tax needs to be filed before filing the appeal. However, assessment unit is empowered to exempt such tax payment on the basis of application. AU shall communicate the acceptance or rejection to NFAC. NFAC in turn communicates everything. So now I need not again and again tell you all communication center body anga faceless inga appeal avladha national. Okay, so first level, file an appeal within 30 days file. If you file beyond 30 days, they have the opportunity to accept or reject, show the reason. Whatever it is, they will communicate to you through NFAC. Okay, tax, you should have paid the tax if return is not filed. But you want to dispute, now return file per letter, the entire assessment is wrong. Then go in for a stay of the demand. You apply for it, AU may accept or reject, that will also be communicated to you. What is the appeal process? Okay, before going into the appeal process, let me be very clear. Neenga appellant. In our example, Saurav is appellant. I am NFAC, still Faceless Assessment Center. I am the defendant. And if at all assessment unit, appeal unit want to do something, they want to verify something, they want to technically look into something, they don't have subordinates. They have to come to me. And I will assign it to my fellow people. Get the report and forward. Non-defendant. Once an appeal is admitted, that is, it is not rejected, it is admitted. AU, here AU stands for Appeal Unit, shall intimate the National Faceless Appeal Center to gather further information from the appellant. It may seek further information, document from or clarification either from the assessee or any third party. So, now on the appeal center ta solten. National Faceless. Okay, they will come to me. AU shall intimate the National Faceless Appeal Center to obtain a report from the defendant, National Faceless Assessment Center, or the AO, because when the it is completed manually on the grounds appealed by the appellant, or if they want any other document which is with me, get the document and okay. So AU can communicate to two people. AU here is appeal unit. They can communicate to two people, directly to the assessee via NFAC, or to the defendant who is National Affiliates Faceless Assessment Center. Through the NFAC, they can also contact me. AU shall also request National Faceless Appeal Center to direct National Faceless Assessment Center or AU to make further inquiries. Because they are subordinate, they have to come to me for everything. If they want to make any further inquiries, come to me. I will ask my assessment unit, my verification unit, my technical unit to do that and give it to you. இப்பயாதான் CIT appeals will ask assessing officer to make further investigations and submit a report thereon. On receipt of intimation from AU, NFAC shall serve a notice on the appellant or any other person, or ask National Faceless Assessment Center or AO to submit information, document, clarification as the case may be. The response received will be taken to assessment unit. Part 1 of the story, again repeating, Saurav has filed appeal has been admitted. I want further assessment, appeal unit want further information from Saurav. Appeal unit will ask Faceless Appeal Center to get further information. They will send a notice to Saurav, get the further information, give it to appeal unit. On the other hand, appeal unit wants some inquiry to be conducted, want from information from the assessing person. The assessing person can be, if it is manual region assessing officer, if it is faceless assessment, they will not know who is this assessing unit itself. So they will directly ask the NFAC, National Faceless Appeals Assessment Center, saying, see, I want this document. One of your person would have only done it. Ask and give me the document. They have given the document. Based upon the document submitted, they want the appeal unit feels that a further inquiry has to be conducted, further verification has to be conducted, further assessment has to be made. They don't have subordinate to ask to do. They don't have parallel units. So they will, what the appeal unit will say to the appeal center is, boss, this thing has to be done. The assessment center, you ask him to do those things and give us the report. Assessment center will assign it to these people, get the report and give it to National Faceless Appeal Center. In turn, it will go to the appeal unit. Okay? Right. Step for additional grounds and additional evidence. Friends, maybe in forthcoming examination, maybe in the November examination, maybe in the book, this might be a question. This might be a question. Okay. Okay. First, I will tell you the difference between additional grounds and additional evidence. So, I received the assessment order. I am filing an appeal. In that, I have given such and such, such and such, such and such. I missed some grounds of appeal. Ayo, this ground I have not mentioned in the original appeal. I need to now give this ground that is known as additional ground, broader. Additional evidence. I have a document or I have an information which I have not submitted during faceless assessment. Now I have to submit it at the time of faceless appeal. So additional ground. Ground means the basis on which appeal is preferred. Evidence means the document which can be relied upon. So additional ground or additional evidence, both. Can I directly file an additional ground or additional evidence? First, let us talk about additional ground. Rendu procedure one da, on additional evidence there is one section itself. There is a rule itself. Additional ground shall be filed by the appellant to Faceless Appeal Center, specifying the reason because of which it was omitted. Okay, file it. Okay, specifying the reason because of which you omitted to file it. NFAC எதா பண்ண முடியுமா? ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியாது. NFAC on receipt of the same shall forward it to assessment center. Okay, and to the appeal unit. ரெண்டு பேருக்கும் நான் forward பண்றதோட என் வேலை over. Okay, my work is to forward it forward it to whom? To the assessing officer or the National Faceless Assessment Center and to the appeal unit. Now, National Faceless, non-defendant. I am National Faceless Appeal Assessment Center. I am defendant. Will I allow additional grounds? I will try to object that. NFAs, National Faceless Assessment Center, shall file their response to the additional ground within the time. Okay, response shall be sent to appeal unit. Okay, they will send it to national appeal. Okay, two supercomputers interacting. Okay, so they will file their response or for the additional grounds. Mostly they will say why you should not accept this additional ground, and NFAC appeal center will send. If there are any comments made by the assessment center, then the same will be forwarded to the assessment, the appeal unit. Where there are no comments, I will intimate. Okay. Where there are no comments, NFAC shall intimate the same to appeal unit. On receipt of comment from the assessment unit or from the assessing officer, appeal unit may, they have two options. If it is satisfied that the inclusion of additional expense grounds is not due to the willful default of the appellant, admit it. Okay? Even though the assessment center will say, no, don't admit it. But when I read it, it's not willful. Yeah, he has forgotten. Yes, last minute, he has to file the appeal because normally these people are chartered accountants. They will start working on September 30th morning only. So they have missed it. So give it the appeal. Or for any other reason, reject also the ground, additional ground. But if they feel genuinely this fellow is playing around, they will reject. They will intimate NFAC. NFAC will intimate the assessing. Sir, okay, so NFAC will intimate. So what is additional ground? Base. Additional ground is some wider aspect, okay, on which appeal is preferred. Original appeal application I did not mention. Now I want to mention. I file. As soon as I file, this appeal center takes two copies, one to assessment unit, one to appeal unit, one to the assessment center. The assessment center or assessing officer. The assessment center or assessing officer will get affected. EU additional grounds. So they will file their response to the appeal center. I will send it to appeal unit. Suppose if they have not given the response, I will tell the appeal unit that fellow has not responded. The appeal unit, after considering the response, if they still feel that there is sufficient ground, accept it and go ahead. If they feel that the grounds are not sufficient, reject the additional grounds. Can be a question. Additional evidence. Here I told you there is a rule which says when additional evidence can be accepted, and that is carried forward to the faceless also. Before progressing on the procedure, let us recollect rule 46A, okay, which says the reason upon which additional evidences can be taken up by the authority. Okay, where assessing officer has refused to accept the additional evidence. I mean the evidence submitted, then you submit it to the appeal. The assessing officer is submitted, but that fellow has refused to take it. Where the appellant was prevented by producing the evidence. Okay, I was not even asked to produce the evidence, or I was not given sufficient time to produce the evidence. Where the appellant was prevented by sufficient cause before any evidence which is relevant for the ground of appeal. Okay, it's a typical same point. Where the assessing officer has made an order without giving sufficient opportunity to the appellant for producing the evidence. You made the order without even calling for. In these cases, additional evidence. I was not called for. not sufficient time given, you have not taken it into consideration, okay, in these cases additional evidence can be directly filed. But the procedure, additional evidence ko additional grounds ko ஒரே procedure தான், okay, right? Procedure remains to be the same. Additional evidence will be filed by the appellant to the appeal center specifying the reason for not. எதனால 46A ல என்ன reason? NFAC forward it to appeal unit. ALU shall, before taking such evidence into account in the appellate proceeding, prepare a notice to provide an opportunity to not answer. National Faceless Appellant, the defendant, provide an opportunity to the defendant as the case may be within the date and time to examine such evidence or to cross-examine such witness as may be produced by the appellant or to produce any evidence or document rebuttal of the evidence or witness submitted by the appellant and furnish a report thereon. So what is this? As soon as I get the appeal unit, what they will do, principle of natural justice. Who is the affected party now? The defendant. That is the Faceless Assessment Center or the assessing officer. Give him the opportunity. Boss, why have you not taken this additional evidence? Or this additional evidence has come to me. Can I take it? I want some inquiry to be made. Tell me the reason why you have not taken it into consideration or what prevented you, or you can now ask the assessee itself, cross-examine the assessee using your center about this particular thing. So I will issue a notice to the defendant saying, boss, this is it. Okay, same like additional grounds, with more power, that's all. Assessment center or AO shall request the appeal center to obtain further evidences and evidences in support of the appellate presentation. Response received will be sent to them. National Faceless Assessment Center or assessing officer, after conducting the required procedure, submit a report to the appeal center within the time specified. Appeal center will forward the report to the assessee. Okay, okay. 1 minute seconds. Solution. Okay. So same like additional grounds, additional evidences also. Once you receive, give an opportunity to the defendant. Defendant can do anything, can cross-examination, everything. After going through, okay, further document and evidences if the defendant want, through the appeal center, get it from the appellant. Okay, because no more he is your assessee, he is my man. Okay, so he will only interact with me, not with you. So through me, you get it. Consider everything, submit a report to the assessing unit, and assessing unit will take care of this. Okay, right. Now, completion of assessment stage, appeal stage 1. Completion of appeal stage 1, where the appeal unit is considering the enhancement of tax paid or reducing the refund or enhancing the penalty. In short, where the order is going to be prejudicial to the assessee. Once more, where the appeal unit is considering enhancement of taxes, reducing the refund or enhancing the penalty prejudicial to the assessee, appellant, it shall intimate NFAC. NFAC will issue a show cause notice, draft order Marian. NFAC will issue a show cause notice to the appellant seeking reasons why I should not do this, and get his response and send it to appeal unit. Stage 1 of appeal, where the appeal unit is considering enhancement of tax paid or reducing the refund or enhancing the penalty, it shall intimate the same to NFAC in writing. NFAC will issue a show cause notice to the appellant, okay, seeking reasons why I should not do this. On receipt of his letter, I will forward it back to the assessment unit. அதுக்கப்புறம் draft order 3 times review பண்ணுவேன் நான் உங்களுக்கு ஸ்லோவா பண்ணேன். After considering all materials presented, evidences produced, additional grounds, additional evidences which are accepted, report of the defendant, any other matter arising, appeal unit shall prepare a draft order in accordance with 251. No more, it is final order, it is draft order. The draft order will be sent to NFAC, that is the Faceless Appeal Center, along with the details for initiating penalty over. After considering all these things, I have prepared the draft order. I cannot finalize the order. I have prepared the draft order, sent it to appeal unit. Me as an assessment unit, appeal unit, my work is over. On receipt of the draft order from AU, National Faceless Appeal Center has a 3-cornered approach. Okay, அங்கேயும் 3 தான். Nothing is there, modification is there, review unit இங்கேயும் அதே தான். Where the draft order proposes to increase tax, penalty, interest, fees beyond the specified amount, then இது கொஞ்சம் danger. Send it to another AU for review. Where the draft order seeks to increase, send it to another AU for review. I want to be safeguarding myself. Let me be clear before issuing. So I will send it to another AU, appeal unit, for review. In any other case, the draft order shall be finalized after examination with the risk management strategy. Where appeal unit center itself is of the view that it needs to be further scrutinized, then also send the order to another AU for review. இங்க AU ஓட ரோல் படிக்கும்போது I gave you one break and said, okay, review of draft order. So one AU will have the power to review another AU's draft order. இப்ப இருக்கிற existing or preceding one commissioner will not have the power to review another commissioner, but since it is faceless, who reviews who, it is not known. One AU's order can be reviewed by another appellate. So that's why I said, wait, I will make you understand. So the power includes these 3 things. AVU, which is sought to review the draft order, the appeal unit which has been asked to review shall review and decide, concur with the order, suggest variation. The reviewing assessing unit shall send the same to NFAC. Okay, the same review unit can concur, modify. So here another unit that is not known as a review unit, that is also an appeal unit, which is asked to review, can either concur or send a draft order. After reviewing, what happens? Post the review of the draft order by another AU, NFAC shall prepare the final order, provided the reviewing unit has concurred with the generating unit. Okay, where they have agreed, final order pass பண்ணிட்டு. ஆனா agree பண்ணிக்கல. நான் உங்கள்ட்ட சொன்னேன், review unit has given a modification. Where NFAC has registered suggestion on variation, then the same shall be assigned to a third assessment unit. The same we saw there. where review unit suggest review unit or tani unit where review unit suggests modification, don't send it back to the same person. His ego will get affected. Send it to a third person where NFAC has got suggestions on variation, then the same will be given to a third assessment unit. அதனால்தான் 3 ரிவ்யூன்னு சொன்னேன், which is neither the original unit which conducted the appeal nor the one which reviewed it the first time. After considering the suggestions received and following the laid down procedure, which means if there is modification, they can send a show cause notice to the assessee, etc. The third unit shall prepare a revised draft order. Okay, so this is where I told you 3 times it can be reviewed. They want surety. Okay, as our friend was rightly saying, this is to ensure that repeated appeals are avoided. Okay, so additional evidence, additional grounds can be a question mostly, or the 3 reviews. Okay, right? Final order, ella mudinji final order. Faceless appeal unit on receipt of order or revised order finalize the appeal, pass the appeal order and communicate the same to appellant, PCIT, defendant of assessment assessing officer for further action. In case draft order recommends initiation of penalty, then serve a show cause notice saying initiation of penalty angiyum. Serve a show cause notice to the appellant why penalty should not be installed. The response received forwarded to the appeal unit. Appeal unit on the basis of response shall either drop the penalty or proceed. Where a draft order is prepared and sent to NFAC, NFAC will finalize and serve the penalty order also. Same procedure. Those things are all not different.
Sir, one small doubt. Will the appeal order be given to the original appeal unit as well, or will it not be given, sir?
Do you mean to say the revised order?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, will not be given. The original appeal unit's work is over. Everything will be sticking on with NFAC and their electronic, and if at all, assessing officer who is having jurisdiction, for them only it will be forwarded. Electronic communication, transfer of cases and video conferencing or as like faceless assessment. Any appeal against the order of NFAC will be with ITAT, which is not faceless yet. To err is human. Okay. The next question that can be, any attempt can be rectification of mistakes. நம்ம யூசுவலா படிக்கிறது தான். Okay, assessment unit is also made of humans. They can do a mistake also. Any mistake apparent on record, that which is not disputable, shall be amended by the appeal center by passing an rectification order. An application for rectification can be made by the appeal unit which conducted the appeal. Suo moto நான் அதுக்கு சொல்லிருக்கேன், because you are very popular with that word. The appeal unit which conducted the appeal, or the assessee appellant, or the defendant. Defendant is National Faceless Assessment Center. Okay, CIT appeals has made a mistake. This mistake can be pointed out by the assessee, by the assessing officer, or CIT appeal himself comes to know of the mistake. Suo moto appeal unit. Defendant instead of assessing officer, faceless assessment center. Appellant is nothing but the assessee. Okay, where any application for rectification is received, it will be assigned to an because I don't have any power. நான் வந்து supreme, அவ்வளவுதான், authority நான் இல்ல. Will be given to an as a appeal unit. The said appeal unit shall examine the application and send a show cause notice for rectification it will be sent to appellant if it is filed by the defendant. If it is, it will be, the show cause notice will be sent to the defendant if it is filed by the appellant. It will be sent to both appellant and defendant if it is suo motu. Repeating, the said appeal unit shall examine the application and send the show cause notice for such rectification to the appellant where the rectification is proposed by defendant, to the defendant where the rectification is proposed by appellant, to both appellant as well as defendant if it is suo motu. The recipient of the notice shall file the response. Whoever has received or both of them have received will file the response. NFAC will forward the response to the appeal unit, or where no response is received, okay, intimate the appeal unit accordingly. Appeal unit, after considering the original application for rectification and the response received, shall prepare a draft rectification order, shall prepare only a draft rectification order, either accepting the rectification or rejecting the same. Where it is rejecting, it will tell the reason. Draft order will be sent to NFAC. NFAC will finalize the order and send it to all parties concerned. AO means assessing officer, because it is being conducted without the faceless. Faceless assessing officer is known as NFAC. By introducing it, physical is removed. It is not coexisting.
Sir?
Raja?
Sir, we had section 263 and 264 revisionary powers.
Continues, Raja. And
Oh,
that is,
but
the faceless team is pending for that.
Oh, okay, sir. Sir, and now these appeal units have the power of CIT appeals.
Yes.
Then what is the role of ITAT, High Court, and Supreme? How will it move, sir?
If the appeal unit is prejudicial, appeal unit is also humans, no? It's like CIT appeals. So whatever is the CIT appeal, whoever, either the defendant, that is NFAC, or the person who is affected assessing can go on an appeal to ITAT. That later is the same.
That ITAT will not be faceless.
No. Not
Right,
yet. Not yet. So, in my opinion, there is a considerable scope of questions. Why I will take a small deviation and tell you, okay, only 70 marks of direct taxation. Only 70 marks of direct taxation. That is the biggest problem, challenge we are having. PGBP, capital gains, assessment of companies, firm, individual, cooperative society, 115 BAC, 115 BAD, amendments in TDS provisions. Maximum 15, optimally 10 marks only is for assessment or administrative procedure. You cannot be questioning much on this. Only 70 marks. Mistake, as a student, the biggest advantage is we know 70 marks. So, there is sufficient scope in the amendment itself for the 10 or 15 marks. For all the terms I am saying. Okay. And it is the normal what I would say, not a definitive rule book, but a guideline that whatever is going to change, don't question. So, இப்போ 263, இவன் கேட்டான் 263, 264. The faceless thing is pending. The central government will notify the faceless rectification review. So, I'm not saying zero, but the chances. Apart from this, there are some case laws in assessment which might be. So, considering these things, no, any examiner looking forward for the forthcoming or the November examination cannot skip faceless assessment and faceless appeal, because as a chartered accountant, once you qualify and come into the market, this is going to be the order of the day. So questioning on this is the more possibility than going on questioning on all those things which are going to change. All of them are going to become faceless. The notifications are going to come on or before 31/3/23. We don't know. Okay. So read it twice or thrice. Read them just on a glance, but read this twice or thrice. Again, in the revision, I will go through all these things once. Why I am very much specific that you should read it once or twice or thrice is you will be able to answer that 10 mark, 15 mark only. அதுக்கு மேல எப்படி கேட்க முடியும் assessmentல, because you have so many things for 70 marks to be questioned. So that is why as a student my thing is you can focus on this, reading it twice or thrice. I have been candid. I want to be always like that. By God's grace, I pray for it. I am not a very technically competent. எனக்கு இது word file type படிக்க தான் தெரியும். But if you, because I see many authors, some books doing this in flowchart basis, நம்ம இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல, அது அவங்களுடைய style. For me, okay, I liked it like dialogues only, okay, but from here I know you can draw the flow chart for this. That flow chart you should not do it in notebook. That flow chart you should virtually see like Vasigaran. Okay, you should virtually see that flow chart. This goes like this, this goes like this comes like this. Okay, if it is physical classroom, I will show you the flow chart itself virtually. But generally, I am saying this flow chart and these things can be understood. But illa அப்படினா notebook, please draw a flow chart. You will very clearly understand. Read every sentence, draw the flow chart, how it goes, how it goes, how it goes. Okay, the greatest benefit you can do for me is send me that flow chart also. I will try to use it, or I will give it to our friends who want it. But without flow chart also you can understand. But if you are a person, because all other subjects you might be reading more from the diagrammatic perspective, this subject you are reading from a theory perspective. Sorry, the diagrammatic catch memory like I can get it now. Please draw the diagram. I have you can listen to it once and start drawing the diagrams. You will once or twice listen பண்ணீங்கன்னா the diagram ரெண்டாவது வாட்டி கரெக்ட்டா வந்துரும். You will be able to appreciate it. But if you are directly understanding it, leave it, you are getting it, you are hitting it. Obviously, in examination, I don't think people draw flow chart. Okay, in examination, you write a theory answer only with that. Okay, so focus on these two things. Out of that 15, 5, 10, எது வேணா இதுலேன்னு வரலாம், so that we will score. Okay, remaining marks where from it will come, I will tell you during revision sessions also, so that assessment procedures are not going to be cumbersome or tiring. And I go back to my friend's statement, among the 8 papers, direct tax is going to be the one which is easiest. Okay, with this I have covered 90% of the amendments that took place in direct taxation. 90%. I'm very candidly saying, I'm not saying 100% I have covered. 90%. That 10% I told you, the trust a small amendment. Okay, those things or wherever small things, I will ensure revision once I will mention that. Okay, but those are not really going to have a very big impact. Whatever impactful, whatever is going to be the mark scoring area, by God's grace, trust me, by my experience, I have covered. With this, I walk into international taxation and its amendments. Okay, the least amendments are in international taxation. Okay, the least amendment are in international taxation, not any landmark amendment except for residential status. Except for residential status, I would not call them as landmark amendments. In fact, some amendments are deferred to 22-23 financial year. Okay, 21-22, sorry, assessment year 22-23. Somewhere in the significant economic presence அப்படின்னு ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு. Business connectionல there is a concept called significant economic presence used upon the data collected. Okay, user number of users. Okay, a person can be said to have business connection in India. This was introduced in 2018-19 midway, deferred to 1920, deferred to 2021, now deferred to 21-22. Similarly, in the Finance Act 20, they brought advertising by an internet operator, by a e-commerce operator who does not have permanent establishment in India. Advertisement by a e-commerce operator who does not have permanent establishment in India, but the advertisement focuses on Indian customers. Will be regarded as business connection. எப்படி பாசிபிள்னே எனக்கு தெரியல. What is Indian customer? You and me are in India. Some people are US, they are also Indian customers. Okay, I'm not going to. And this is also deferred. You know, 2020 Finance Act la eduthu padikumo, you will study this and you will feel, oh, have we missed something important? No, later they said that this is deferred to Finance Act to financial year 21-22. So the some amendments which they brought also, they have deferred it to 21-22, making all the small amendments only. What if you ask me, the two chief things of amendments for non-residents now, the two are actually three things which I would call as amendments. One, residential status, there is a change for this Indian citizen, person of Indian origin. Second, dividend becomes taxable in the hands of non-resident recipient. Till last year, it is not taxable because 115O. Now it becomes taxable. Rate is 20%. Rate is 20%. Okay, their tax rate, provided they have invested it in foreign currency, 20%. And the third amendment, which they have not given impact to, is the safe harbor rules. Every time they are deferring it, safe harbor rules will be notified. They brought a very good amendment, even non-residents, because safe harbor rules is only for transfer pricing. But then they amended, even non-residents will come under safe harbor rules who have business connection in India. So it's a major amendment. And the safe harbor rules notify as of today. I am talking on June 2nd. I don't think till June 30 it is going to be notified, which means it is not there for November exams also. Which means it is not there for November exams. I appear November exam 6 months. Okay, it is not there for November exams also. That safe harbor rules, they brought it as a very good amendment. That not safe harbor, it's like presumptive taxation. Once you declare it, no questions each end, so that you are giving. in the non-resident airline operator 5% shipping 7.5% like that they thought we thought that they are going to bring a safe harbor, but that is also not notified. Even for transfer pricing, safe harbor rules are not there for the forthcoming or the November examination. So when you study it, you might think that there are 10-15 amendments. Watson is only saying 5 amendments. At least 5 amendments deferred. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now, let us start with residential status. Let us start with residential status. What is the amendment? First, let me talk about residential status to recollect whatever you have studied in your inter. First, let me talk about residential status, whatever you studied in your intern. In your intern, you would have studied in residential status of individuals the following. 2 basic conditions. 182 days or more during the previous year, relevant previous year, 60 plus 365. 60 days in the relevant previous year and 365 days or more in the 4 years preceding the relevant previous year. Okay, so to put it okay in terms of okay, so our financial year we are all writing is 2021. So 182 days or more in 2021 satisfied. Okay, 60 plus days in 2021 and 365 days or more, okay, 365 days or more, okay, in, okay, in, okay, 1920, 1819, 1718, 1617 in 4 years. This is satisfied. Okay, 60 plus 365. 60 in the relevant previous year for all of us writing in the forthcoming examinations. The previous year is 2021. 60 plus 365. Ana, okay, not applicable for, that is the second basic condition. Okay, basic condition is not applicable for 3 classes of people. Okay, Indian citizens leaving India for employment. Okay, somebody is going for employment, it is not applicable. If somebody is going for employment, it is not applicable. Okay, second thing is PIO, person of Indian origin or Indian citizen visiting India. Okay, and the third thing is member of ship crew. இவங்களுக்கு இது not applicable இருந்தது. But the change comes for them actually. The change comes for these people to a little extent now. Okay, the change comes for these people. Okay, in this basic condition. Additional condition பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அப்படியே விடுங்க, அது அதேதான். Okay, now basic condition, 182 days or more during the relevant previous year, 60 plus 365. Any one condition satisfied, the individual becomes a resident. Okay, exceptions are individuals leaving India for the purpose of employment, member of ship crew, Indian citizen or persons of Indian origin visiting India. For the above category of people, 60 days in basic condition 2 will be substituted with 120 days. Okay, sorry. 182 days. Technically, this means second basic condition is not applicable in the original law. Okay. Now, amendment by Finance Act 2020. In case of Indian citizen and persons of Indian origin. So, in the leaving for employment ship crew, அவங்களுக்கு second basic condition கிடையாதுன்னு வெச்சுங்க. Only for this category of people, there is an amendment. Only for this category of people, there is an amendment. In case of Indian citizen and a person of Indian origin who is outside India, visits India during the previous year, okay, and the most such person's income other than income from foreign sources exceeds 15 lakhs, okay, then instead of 60 days, okay, which was substituted originally with 182 days, then the 60 days is substituted with 180 to 120 days and not 182 days. So what are all the conditions? Uh, Actually, Vishal's question is block assessment and the investigation wing procedure will come under faceless assessment. This block assessment is yet to be notified, but in the last budget they have said that they are reducing it to 3 years and they might notify. As of now, block assessment is not coming. Investigation, yes, the notification is pending. Yes, the notification is pending. Okay, right, fine. Let from the top. From the top again. Okay, for Indian citizens and persons of Indian origin visiting India during the previous year and their income other than foreign source income exceeds 15 lakhs, then instead of 60 days, it will be, instead of 182 days, instead of 60 days, it will be 120 days and not 182 days. And not 182 days. Similarly, we'll talk about it, don't worry. Similarly, another concept parallelly came. This is a concept which gets importance because of, again, the base erosion profit shifting. Okay, debts norms, where OECD has said some people are trying to escape the taxation net by not being a resident in any of the countries. I keep going around. So I'm not a resident of any of the countries in 1 or 2 years. There is a possibility. This section overrides section 6.1, that is residential status computation. 182 days the law. Notwithstanding, this is applicable only for Indian citizens. This is applicable only for Indian citizens, and this is applicable if the total income from foreign sources exceeds 15 lakhs. If it exceeds 15 lakhs, okay, then such a person shall be considered as deemed resident in India. Once more, shall I repeat? Such person shall be deemed to be resident in India if he is not liable to tax in any other country or territory by reason of his residential status. This is known as rule of elimination. You are taxed in that other country. Fine, I am not taxing. You are my man, Indian citizen, and you are a non-resident somewhere because of which you are not getting taxed and your income exceeds 15 lakhs. Boss, I am going to tax you. I am going to, such person shall be deemed to be resident in India if he is not liable to tax in any other country or territory by reason of his residential status or other criteria. Okay, in the case of both the above amendments, the provisions of R&OR will be applicable. Like R&OR is taxable for income received in India, income accruing or arising from India, income from business or profession managed outside India, business or profession carried out outside India but managed from India. Repeating, R&OR is taxable for provision because in both the cases, First Amendment, Second Amendment, the person will be treated as R&OR, and R&OR is taxable for income received in India. அது யாரா இருந்தாலும் taxable. Income deemed to accrue or arise in India. அதுவும் யாரா இருந்தாலும் taxable. ஒரே benefit. Income earned outside India from business or profession which is managed from India. Okay. What is income from foreign sources? Means which accrues or arises outside India and received outside India. However, it does not include, originally it does not include business or profession outside India but managed from India. Please read through once.
Hello, sir.
Listening.
What is the full name of R&OR?
What is the
Full name of
resident
R&OR?
but not ordinary resident?
Okay.
Yeah, Ramakrishnan, I will do it. Yeah. Satish, a citizen of India, left India on 6/6/2010 for employment abroad. He does not come back to India till 16/17. 17/18, 124 days. 18/19, 104 days. 19/20, 140 days. In the previous year 2021, he came to India on 7/4/2020 and left on 16/7/2020. Determine his RS considering the following income and also specify the income taxable in India. Rental income from property in Chennai, interest income from debentures, dividend income from Indian companies received outside India, dividend from UK companies received there, gain from sale of property outside India, profit from a business in Germany which is managed from India. period of stay in financial year 2021. He came on 7th April and left on 16th July. He came on 7th April and left on the date of arrival, date of departure should be taken. So 24 days in April. That is why 24 days is, we should exclude the first 6 days. Okay, first 6 days. 31 days in May, 30 days in June, and 16 days in July. Okay, okay, these are all his stay in India. Okay, so 24 plus 31 plus 30 plus 16. Okay, so he is not satisfying the first basic condition. 182 days or more, he is not satisfying. Let us check the second basic condition, 60 plus 365. That 60 is satisfying. Okay, now past 4 years. Okay, okay, past 4 years are 1920, 1819, 1718, 16, sorry, 1819, 1920, 1819, 1718, 1617. Okay, he starts from 1718. Okay, so 1617, 0. He has not been in India. 1718, he has been in India for 124 days. 1819, he has been in India for 104 days. 1920, he has been in India for 140 days. Total days in past 4 years. Total days in past 4 years is 368. Total days in past 4 years, 368. So does he satisfy the basic second additional condition? The answer is yes. He satisfies the second additional condition, but there is a problem. Okay, normally the second additional condition, normally he is anybody would have been satisfied, but he is a citizen of India. He is a citizen of India. If he is a citizen of India, if he is a citizen of India visiting India, this condition of 101 till last year became 182. Till last year it has become 182. Now it has become 120. Now it has become 120 provided it becomes 120 provided his income from foreign sources is more than 15 lakhs. Okay, ஒரே ஒரு அமெண்ட்மெண்ட் மாத்திரம் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். நான் கம்ப்யூட் பண்ணாம விட்டேன், இல்ல கம்ப்யூட் பண்ணி தப்பா டைப் படிச்சிட்டேன். கேன் ஐ டேக் இட் as 16.8? that will be the correct one. Intention is to make it as 120. Intention is to make it as 120. So kindly allow me to compare, make it as 16/8/2020. Okay, so this will be again July 31 days plus August 16 days. Okay, this will be again July 31 days plus August 16 days. Okay, 130. My intention is to type 16.8, but I typed it as 16.7. Okay, so normally I am repeating now the condition. The second basic condition is not applicable for Indian citizen visiting India because the 60 days appearing here is substituted with 182 days. Adnal usually in the question, I will not work out the second basic condition at all. I will say 132 days, first basic condition not satisfied, he is a non-resident. Because second basic condition is not applicable for him. But now comes an amendment that instead of 182, this will become 150, provided, okay, I am repeating the condition, provided, okay, his foreign source of income, such person income other than income from foreign sources exceeds 15 lakhs. Okay, what is foreign source of income? Means which income accrues or arises outside India and received outside India. However, it does not include this. So, RNOR ki ennalla income irko adallam. Okay, now income other than foreign source income. Income other than foreign source income. Okay, now I go to the question again. Okay, rental income from Chennai. Okay, rental income from Chennai 8 lakhs. Okay, interest income from Indian companies. Interest income from Indian companies 4,10,000. Dividend income from Indian companies, okay, is 3,05,000. Okay, last, okay, profit from business outside India but managed from India, okay, managed from India, okay, is 8,10,000. Total income other than foreign source income. Total income other than foreign source income comes to 23,25,000. Total income other than foreign source income comes to 23,25,000. Exceeds 15 lakhs. Okay, exceeds 15 lakhs. Hence, the 60 days appearing in basic condition 2, okay, is substituted with 120 days. The 60 days appearing in basic condition 2 is substituted with 120 days. In the given case, Satish is a resident but not ordinary resident. Okay, if you fulfill because of this, he becomes a resident but not ordinary resident. Enna difference na, this income was not taxable if he is a non-resident. Because he becomes an RNOR, this income becomes taxable. Otherwise, these three, no change. Even if you are a non-resident, if income accrues or arises from India, it is taxable. These two things, okay, these two things are taxable only for ROR. Are taxable only if you are a resident and ordinary resident. Only this income is the difference between ROR and NR. This is taxable for ROR and RNOR. So by becoming an RNOR, this 8,10,000 becomes taxable. அவ்வளவுதான் difference. வேற ஒன்றும் பெரிய difference கிடையாது. If he has a business outside India, which is managed from India, that becomes taxable. Srija, okay, she was sitting next to me, Lalita, and saying, Srija, an Indian citizen, left India for the first time for the purpose of employment on 28th September 2020. Left India on 28th September 2020. Okay, I will do the first part first. Question number 2, period of stay in India. Okay, April, May, June, July, August, September. Normally, for a citizen leaving India for employment purposes, second basic condition is not applicable. Normally, for a citizen leaving India for the purpose of employment, the second basic condition is not applicable. She is not satisfying the first condition, so she should be a non-resident in normal cases. Okay. She reached Dubai on the same date, and from there she left on 7th October to Germany. She stayed 30 days in Germany and left for her ultimate employment destination, San Francisco. For the year 2021, she was not considered as a resident in Dubai because very less number of days, not a resident in Germany because she was there only for 30 days, or USA, as the period of stay is lesser than what is required. Minimum 60 days. What will be her residential status if her total income from foreign sources is 1480 or 1645? Under normal circumstances, she will be considered as a non-resident as she has not satisfied basic condition 1 and second basic condition will not be applicable. Normal circumstances. However, as per the amended law, if her income other than foreign source income if her income other than foreign source is 14,80,000, non-resident, no problem. If it is 14,80,000, if her income other than foreign source income is greater than 15 lakhs, greater than 50 lakhs, she will be a deemed resident in India under section 6 subsection 1a, she will be a deemed resident in India under section 6 subsection 1a. What is the reason? Okay, she is not a resident in any other country during the relevant previous year. She is not a resident in any other country during the relevant previous year. Okay, she is a Indian citizen. Okay, her income other than foreign source income exceeds rupees 15 lakhs. Okay, provisions of R&OR will be applicable. Second condition, 182 days is never substituted. 60 க்கு பதிலா தான் 120.
Sir, for a minute, could you just scroll up to the first question, sir? Sir, could you just explain that profit from business outside India, how it is taxed for an R&OR?
For an R&OR, what are all the income taxable in India? Income received in India, income accruing or arising from India, income from profit and gains carried on outside India but managed from India.
If he was a non-resident, only the first three would have been taxable. Thank you.
Okay. Not a very landmark amendment at all. Only this, okay, maybe what I would say is objective question, but not a very different other than that. Okay. Non-resident taxation. What are all the amendments? First one we all know. Now, dividend is taxable in the hands of the non-resident if he is holding shares in Indian company. Okay, it will be taxable even if the entire dividend is paid outside India. The rate is 20%. I'll come to that. Okay, this also we saw when we are doing TDS provision. Royalty will also include sale, distribution or exhibition of cinematographic films. The Amazon Prime, Netflix the okay, royalty will also include sales, distribution or exhibition of films. Now the rate of taxation, same like above, but this dividend, other than dividend referred to அப்படின்றது இப்போ கிடையாது. Okay, so this was the amendment. There is nothing called dividend other than dividend referred to under section 115O. So all dividends are taxable at 20%. All dividends are going to be taxable at 20%. Okay. Similarly, interest also 20%. Easy to remember. Interest received from REIT, infrastructure development, rupee denominated bonds, இது எல்லாமே 5%. Okay, interest for all these things are 5%. Okay, this infrastructure based industries எல்லாத்துக்குமே it is going to be only 5%, etc. Okay, the last one is something which is an amendment. Okay, this is also an amendment. Okay, we all know that there is something known as International Financial Service Center. International Financial Service Center, which is located in Gift City, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Which is located in Gift City. Okay, அது ஒரு SEZ மாதிரின்னு புரிஞ்சுங்க. Non-residents are going to be the investor. அதுக்குள்ள stock exchange இருக்கு, bank இருக்கு, எல்லாமே இருக்கு. But it is for bringing money from outside India to India. Majorly, non-residents are going to be the investor. Interest in respect of monies borrowed from sources outside India by issue of long-term bonds, rupee denominated bonds by a concern which is listed on a recognized stock exchange in IFSC. Last year it was 5%, this year 4%. ஒன்னும் பெரிய difference இல்ல. 5% has become 4%. Otherwise, everything for a non-resident infrastructure now, be sure it is 5%, including REIT, everything. All dividends, even this is a dividend, mutual fund. All dividend interest 20%. All infrastructure oriented interest 5%. If it is located in the stock exchange of IFSC, instead of 5%, 4%. No deductions can be claimed. If the rates is special, no deductions can be claimed. And Chapter 6A deductions, okay, are not allowed except in the ATLA, which IFAC can claim, okay, which a unit in IFAC can claim, okay. If you are not very clear about IFAC, don't worry. In the revision class, I am doing some questions about IFAC and explaining the various provisions about IFAC, you will be very clear. நானும் அதை ஆரம்பிச்சதுலேயும் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன், ஒன்னும் கொஸ்டின் கேட்க மாட்டேன்றாங்க, but still. Okay. Finance Act 2020 has extended royalty and fees for technical services. That is, where any royalty fees of technical services is received by a non-resident and such income is the only income and tax has been paid, they are exempt from filing returns. Previously, it was there for interest, it was there for dividend, etc. Now they have extended it to royalty also. They need not file return if tax has been deducted at source. I don't know how it started with 3. I didn't notice at that time. So hopefully you don't mind. Okay. Presence of eligible fund manager will not constitute business connection. Will not constitute business connection. அதுக்கு முதல்ல இந்த fund manager, who is a fund manager, I will make you understand. See, a fund manager is an investment strategist. Okay, fund is there, that is different. Fund manager is one who is an investment strategist. It may be one person, group of persons also. They are investment strategists. Ipo, there is a overseas fund. Please understand the whole point. Okay, then you will be able to appreciate the provision. There is a overseas fund. The fund manager is in India. The one who makes investment decision of that fund is in India, but the fund is outside India. He makes them invest in India, earns return, taxable. That is income accruing or arising from India. The fund manager in India is making the overseas fund to invest outside India in some business, some investments. And they earn income. Just because the fund manager is in India, does it constitute business connection? Is that income earned taxable? The answer the law has given us is no. Presence of fund manager, fund in India, taxable. Investment in India, taxable. Presence of fund manager in India. Just because he is there in India, it does not mean it is taxable in India. அப்பனா நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? Indiaல I am going to invest in Singapore. I am a ROR, taxable தானே. நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? ஒரு ஃபண்ட namesake I am incorporating a fund in Dubai. But all members of the fund are in India. That means you are trying to create a sham. So, அதெல்லாம் close பண்றதுக்கு தான் இந்த provision. Very slowly. Okay, it should start with 1. I don't know how it starts with 3. Fund manager is a person who makes investment strategy and guiding in investment. Maybe a single person go. Under normal circumstance, presence of fund manager in India constitute business connection, and the profit made by such manager or the fund will be taxable in India. There may be a circumstance that the offshore investing entity might become a resident entity as well. In order to provide relief, this section is incorporated. The provision is applicable for fund managers of offshore funds of India. Fund is outside India, manager is in India. For investment made in India, tax in the normal course. Because it is income accruing in India, it is taxable in the normal course. The said fund should be a non-resident fund located in a country with which India has DTAA. In that case, நான் exemption கொடுக்கிறேன். எப்போ? Aggregate participation or investment in the fund directly or indirectly by person resident in India should not exceed 5% of the corpus of the fund. I told you, அப்படி ஒரு offshore fundக்கு நான் exemption கிடைக்கிறேன்னா, people from here will float an offshore fund. And so they said, resident people who are investing in that fund should not exceed 5%. Instead of saying 5%, there is a cap that as the Finance Act has introduced. Amendment by Finance Act 2020 for calculating the aggregate participation or investment in the fund by a resident Indian, contribution of the eligible fund manager during the first year up to 25 crores shall not be considered. So up to 25 crores you can still contribute. It might be even more than 5%, but more than 25 crores only the limitation comes into play. That will be only for first 3 years. Okay, contribution by eligible fund manager during the first 3 years up to 25 crores, let it happen, I don't mind. Okay, otherwise it will, because even that might go above 5%, but instead of bringing a percentage cap, instead of giving a percentage cap, they are giving a volume cap, which is normal, 25 crores or 5%, like that they used to. Okay, first 25 crores I will not take into account. And how big the fund should be? In the 25 crores matrama, the monthly average corpus of the fund shall not be less than 100 crores. Adala 25 crores India, now okay, first 3 years. The monthly average of the corpus of the fund shall not be less than 100 crores. Monthly average. However, first year now what to do? If the fund has been established or incorporated only in 2021, the corpus should not be less than 1,000 crores at the end of 12 months. At the end of 12 months, suppose I incorporate it on December 1st, 2020, 30th November 2021, at least you should have achieved 100 crores. The corpus, okay, where it is incorporated in the financial year 2021, the corpus of the company should not be less than 100 crores by the end of 12 months. By the end of 12 months. Before that, achieve that 100 crores. For that to establish, you can contribute 25 crores, which will be in excess of 5% also. First 3 years, it can exceed 25 crores. First 25 crores, I will not even take it into account. This is the amendment. Otherwise, this 9A is there for a long time, not questionable, but this is the amendment which took place in Finance Act 2020. Otherwise, remuneration paid by the fund to an eligible fund manager, okay, should be at arm's length price. Should not be, because that is taxable in India. Remuneration is paid to the eligible fund manager. Fund manager is in India, resident Indian, earning income from outside India, taxable. Okay, remuneration paid shall not be less than arm's length price. Okay, it should not be less. Aprina, you are paying some other consideration there, so it should not be less than arm's length price. Income from outside fund outside India will not be taxable just because the fund manager is located in India. So the amendment is first 25 crores for 3 years. I will not take it. And the corpus should be 100 crores. Monthly average 100 crores. First year alone, I will give you exemption. If this is the first year, within 12 months, achieve that 100 crores. Not a practical area of questioning, purely a theoretical area of questioning. Okay, if at all there is. Okay. This is the next introduced section. Actually not introduced, it is there, now extended. 10(4)(d). Okay, the following incomes of a specified fund, not from the fund who is the earner, avungalukku illa, the following incomes of a specified fund are exempt. So that leads us to the question of what is a specified fund? IFSC. Okay, because they are the one who are getting foreign source of income. What is a specified fund? Fund established in India as a trust, business trust இருக்கலாம், company இருக்கலாம், LLP இருக்கலாம். Fund established in India as a trust or company or LLP which has been granted the certificate of category 3 alternative investment fund, AIF, alternative investment fund, regulated by SEBI, and it should be located in IFSC, and all the unit holders should be non-resident. Obvious adnalda they are bringing foreign currency. That's why I am giving this exemption. Shall I repeat? The income of specified funds are exempt. Before going into income, what are all the income exempt? I will make you understand what is a specified fund. Specified fund means a fund which is located at IFSC, which is recognized as category 3 alternative investment fund by SEBI, and which is having only non-residents as unit holders or shareholders. Okay, then only it is. What are all the income exempt? LTCG on transfer of bonds of an Indian company. Okay, GDR, rupee denominated bonds of an Indian company or derivatives or any other notified security on a recognized stock exchange where the consideration is received in foreign currency. One non-resident selling to another non-resident. One non-resident. Personal unit holder should already be a non-resident. One non-resident selling shares of an Indian company, bonds, etc. through recognized stock exchange through another non-resident. Okay, the fund will not be taxable. Transfer of securities other than shares of Indian company. Income from securities, that is interest, dividend, etc. by a non-resident not being a PE, which otherwise does not accrue in India from outside India. Income from securitization trust, that pass-through entity, which is chargeable under PGBP. So, a specified fund which is located in IFSC, which is recognized as an alternative investment fund category 3, which is having non-resident members, can have the following incomes exempt: transfer of bonds, GDRs, rupee denominated bonds and bringing foreign currency, transfer of shares other than shares of Indian company, interest income or dividend income which is not taxable otherwise in India, and income from securitization trust which is chargeable under PGBP, because securitization trust, if they distribute the money, it is taxable for the unit holder. Specified fund, if it is a unit holder, it will still be not taxable. 1040 is not a new introduced, but it has been expanded. It has been expanded in its scope. Again, I will consolidate IFSC procedures for you so that in one space you can look for it. The newly incorporated section 1023 FE. Idea came from Abu Dhabi and we are now extending it to all foreign countries. Abu Dhabi government said, when our Prime Minister visited Abu Dhabi, the Abu Dhabi government said that they are ready to invest through their government companies. திருப்பி சொல்றேன். Abu Dhabi government said Our government companies and our government enterprises are ready to invest in India towards infrastructure and various things. Give us exemption. Then we saw a big opportunity emerging. இப்போ நம்ம ஊர்ல ப்ராவிடன்ட் ஃபண்ட் பென்ஷன் ஃபண்ட் எல்லாம் இருக்கு. People contribute in provident fund. What does provident fund do? They invest in safe securities. So we saw an opportunity. There will be some foreign provident fund and pension fund, welfare fund, which is looking for opportunities to invest. We as a country is looking for investment. So let's do one thing. They have the fund. I require investment. I will tell them, if you invest in India, you are not going to be taxable for the returns. Provided maintain the investment at least for 3 years. Provided maintain the investment at least for 3 years. Exempt income. Income from dividend, interest, LTCG. 3 years condition is there. Whether in the form of debt or share capital or units would be exempt, provided the investment is between this period and it is at least held for 3 years. Okay. Eligible investment or investment should be in business trust, in REIT, infrastructure development. Investment can be directly to a company which is involved in investment infrastructure, or category 1 or category 2 semi-regulated, which is also involved, which in turn invest in companies which are involved in infrastructure. Directly, நீங்களே infrastructure company you can invest, or invest in a mutual fund which is in turn investing 100% of investment in companies which are involved in infrastructure facility. So this is to develop our infrastructure facility. Investment should be for through a business trust. Investment can be in a company. Investment can be in the dividend, long-term capital gain, interest, or exempt. When will I withdraw the exemption? Where conditions mentioned are not satisfied, then in the year 3 years okay, then in the year of withdrawal this will become taxable. Okay, who are all enjoys this benefit? Wholly owned subsidiaries of Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. He should be a resident of United Arab Emirates, make investment directly or indirectly out of funds owned by government of Abu Dhabi. அவங்க தான் இந்த ஐடியாவையே நமக்கு இனிஷியேட் பண்றது. Then only we expanded to all foreign countries. What is sovereign wealth fund? Owned by a government of a foreign country, set up as a law in that country. Earnings of the fund should accrue directly to government of that country and not to any private persons. Assets should be with the government of that company and they are not carrying on any commercial activity. What is a sovereign welfare fund? Wealth fund which is for welfare, which is owned by a foreign government, established as per the law of that government. Benefits don't accrue to private parties, only to government. Assets are owned by government and they are non-profit seeking organizations. Okay. Pension fund, similar to that, should be created under the law of foreign country, including the law made by the province. State law கூட இருக்கலாம். ஏன்னா US law எல்லாமே state law தான், not the union law. Should not be taxable in the said foreign country and satisfies the other conditions. Okay, in this case, if these people invest in Indian infrastructure, because they will have surplus funds, if they invest in Indian infrastructure, I am going to exempt. So income of wholly owned subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, sovereign welfare fund, and specified pension funds are exempt. Theoretical question, not a practical question. The petroleum reserve, they have given an exemption. Just read through that. That is more than sufficient. Income of Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited, being a wholly owned subsidiary of Oil Industries Development under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, as a result of arrangement for replenishment of crude oil stored in the facility, is exempt. However, such exemption shall not be applied to an arrangement if the crude oil is not replenished within 3 years from the end of the financial year in which it is removed. Okay. இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன சின்னது நிறைய இருக்கும் for government sake. Okay. Transfer pricing la, as I told you, safe harbor amendment which is not applicable. APA, that is advanced pricing arrangements la, they made it that now APA can also be applicable for non-residents, but the notification is not yet come. What type of income, etc. has not come. But that small amendment is there. And reference to transfer pricing officer can also be faceless. Notification is pending. That is, it can also be faceless, the transfer pricing officer. Okay. 94B, that is interest paid to outside India, 30% of EBIT. It is restricted to 30% of EBIT. That rule, it will not be applicable for banks and financial institutions which does not have PE in India. So, if Citibank gives me loan, it has a PE in India, it will be applicable. But suppose Bank of Singapore, which is not present in India, suppose if it is not present in India, they give me loan. For banks and financial institutions, don't restrict the interest. That is the holistic idea of that provision. That amendment, during revision class, I will cover it. But other than that, no amendment in transfer pricing. As it is, transfer 94B la or additional line, this provision is not applicable for banking who does not have, foreign banks who does not have P in India. Okay, I will cover that. Okay, but other than that, faceless assessment till to be notified. Okay, no other amendment in transfer pricing. In double taxation avoidance agreement, in DTAA, similar to this 94B, there is a provisional amendment. Okay, I don't exactly remember that, but there is a very, very theoretical provisional amendment. Okay, which also I read while doing the material. Then I thought this is not essential at this point of time. If at all needed at the time of revision, I can cover that. That is DTAA. The other major amendment took place in equalization levy. The other major amendment took place in equalization levy. What is equalization levy? We all know that 6% scheme is there. What is equalization levy? 6% on any advertisement or campaign, etc. Okay, payable to a non-resident who does not have PE in India. The web portal idella pay பண்ணும்போது அதுல one more extension is being given with a small change. Section 165A has been introduced in the Act for equalization levy. On what it is getting levied? Online sale of goods owned by a e-commerce operator. Online sale of goods by a e-commerce operator. Online provision of service by a e-commerce operator, or both. Okay. Combination of the above. Who is this e-commerce operator? Okay. A non-resident who owns, operates or manages digital or electronic facility platform for online goods or services. வேற ஒரு இடத்துல okay, when equalization levy under this section is leviable, if the e-commerce operator okay is not leviable, when it is not leviable nu pata, if the e-commerce operator has a PE in India. So we understand in this, okay, what I have not written but I will now write, on what it is getting levied? E-commerce operator selling goods or services or combination of above who does not have PE in India. That is not directly studied in the law as that is, but when we read the exception clause to whom it is not applicable, there it has said, if you have a PE in India, so this is applicable for only people who does not have e-commerce operator, who does not have PE in India. Amazonக்கு PE இருக்கு, Flipkartக்கு PE, Walmartக்கு PE இருக்கு. Okay, all these things. Alibaba, this Chinese based websites or a portal does not have a PE in India. Does not have a PE in India, and there are some other portals also, okay, which are selling goods which does not have PE in India. அவங்களுக்கு தான் இது. Okay, so repeating, okay, on what it is getting levied. Okay, online goods, online sale of provision. Okay, sorry, I typed it at the wrong place. Okay, a non-resident, okay, who owns, operates and manages digital electronic facility or online sale of goods or provision of both, okay, who does not have a PE in India. Who does not have a PE in India. The non-resident should not have a PE in India. Appada in the provision applicable. Okay. And there is something interesting in this provision. I'll come to that. Who is the service recipient? Track பண்ணவே முடியாது. The second thing. Resident Indian. Track பண்ண முடியும். Okay. Persons who buy goods from an internet protocol in India. Tax பண்ண முடியும். Specified non-resident. Who is a specified non-resident? Sale of data collected from a person who is resident in India or from a person who uses IP located in India, probably trackable. Advertisement which targets a customer who is resident in India or who access advertisement through IP located in India. It is very difficult to track this. They are complicating this provision, but fine. Okay. Advertise. Okay. So service non-resident is the service provider. What are all the services? Online sale of goods, services. To whom? To a resident Indian, to a specified non-resident, and the person who buys such goods or services using IP address located in India. Who is that specified non-resident? One who collects data from India or through IP in India, or a person whose advertisement focuses on, the second one is difficult. The best thing that happened is, Equalization levy is on the service provider and not on the service recipient. It is on the service provider. Okay, normal equalization levy is like TDS. In other things, equalization levy is on me. I pay advertisement 1 lakh. I should deduct 6% equalization levy. But here, it becomes like a TCS. The liability is on the e-commerce operator and not recipient. Equalization levy is 2% of the consideration. So the liability is not on me, on that non-resident e-commerce operator. On him only the liability. Okay. However, if the gross turnover of the e-commerce operator does not exceed 2 crores, or if the levy is already taxable under the other provision, or if the e-commerce operator has a PE in India, then this provision is not applicable. Very rare in tracking mechanism. This is to satisfy BEPS norms. We have brought this provision. Otherwise, it is very rare to track, but theoretically understand it once.
Sir, one small doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, the specified non-resident is a recipient, is it, sir?
I don't understand.
What is specified non-resident we have given, and in that we have given some sale of data collected from a person, and
sale of data collected from a person who is resident in India, but the collector is a non-resident.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir?
Raja?
Sir, suppose if in this equalization levy, if he is providing service for the value of 1 lakh, then will he bill me 1 lakh plus an equalization levy of 2%? And
no, he is able to pay 1 lakh into 2%. He will not collect and pay.
Oh, in TCS, sir?
TCS he will collect it. I mean, I just showed TCS because of an example that the
okay.
But not, in fact, he is not collecting from the buyer.
Okay. He has to directly remit it.
Yeah.
Sir, one more query. Do we have 12AB, sir, for trust for exam July 21?
No, sir, not the 12AB. They have notified that it is postponed to April 1, 2020.
All right, sir.
Sorry. They have given the notification.
Thank you, sir.
So, friends, these are all the amendments which will be questionable amendments, and I don't see non-resident having any big amendment, but resident assessees or a part of direct taxation, I mean international taxation not having any big amendments, but direct taxation has lot of amendments. Okay, some of them are becoming questionable amendments. So please keep going through this. Okay, in the revision class, again I will touch upon these amendments, but I will not be explaining a lot. Okay, I will touch upon these amendments. In the revision class, I will do a detailed working for non-resident taxation and how this dividend income and all is getting taxed. Okay, when will revision class be conducted? I am just waiting whether CA Institute is just sticking on to the date. I have my own doubts. Let's see. But as of now, revision classes will commence somewhere around June 12th. Okay, I'm planning 8 sessions of revisions, like how we are done this, 4 days of revision. By the end of revision sessions, you should be absolutely comfortable with direct taxation. That is there in my mind. Okay, thankfully we have completed all the amendments separately. So in the revision, we can touch upon and browse through the amendments and not focus more on amendments, but focus on practical area and other aspects. So meet you during the revision sessions. For November examination, the revisions will be in the end September or October. If you are writing the November examination, wait for revisions during that time. You need not attend this revision classes. I will separately take after knowing what they have asked in the coming examination. We will focus upon other amendments in the November examination. So don't worry, for November examination, I will again do the revision classes. These revision classes which I am planning is more for me. But if you are really free and you are writing in November, you want to just have a revision, most welcome. Meet you during revision classes. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the amendments along with you. Okay, after a long time, it was pending for a long time. I was having some mind block in touching itself. But then some of you were always asking me, you kept motivating me. And those people, I am really thankful for making me do this amendment class. They made me to read the Finance Act fully. They made me to understand the Finance Act. I don't take any credit. It is absolutely belonging to you. Meet you during revision sessions. Thank you very much, friends. All the best.
Thank you, sir.